welcome to Casting, the Spotlight episode, number 192, a solo following up our previous solo. So that means we will be reviewing another movie swap segment of films, Air and Apocalypto, the second half of this podcast, essentially. Obviously, of course, we've got this or that, so let's just start it off hot.
Hell yeah.
Tonight we drew the category of That 70s Show characters, and I am fresh off an entire series rewatch. We both seen it many times.
Yeah, I've seen it all the way. I've seen every episode at least a few times.
Yeah, probably.
Some
I
more
would.
than others.
You probably have seen every episode at least 4 times.
Probably.
Meaning most of the A season, probably. You've only seen that limited. The other ones you may have seen.
It's
more.
like there was an era where if I saw it on TV, I'm like, I'll flip it on. You know, and even if I didn't fully pay attention, I still saw it. It didn't matter what season, you know. It was just like, oh, that 70s show. And then streaming services came around and I rewatched it and actually watched it some, and then other times just threw it on in the background. So, like, it's been around in my life for a pretty damn long time.
So either way, it's been a number of years for me, at least, that 70s show consecutively. Like, whenever we had the DVDs, sometimes I just take them, like, for, you know, there were Corey's and stuff, and I just, like, throw on a chain of, like, 6 or 7 episodes. You'd probably do the same thing as I would, and, like, whenever it was on FX and, like, maybe the CW or local channel, they'd always play a back-to-back episode. Sometimes you get 4 of them back-to-back-to-back, and then, like, you know, I'd watch those, or, like, during Christmas, they would play all those. And so, like, whenever you get them, we'd start doing that.
Thanksgiving and stuff, too.
So, like, that was always fun. But anyway, we drew that 70s show characters nonetheless on This or That Tonight, which is, you know, we're basically picking one measuring stick to go against everything else in its own category. And since tonight is That 70s Show characters, we're going to lead off with your main character, your measuring stick tonight, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah.
You know who it's going to be?
I'm in the hot seat.
He's in the hot seat. His decisions will be put under a microscope and dissected. So, your main tonight is going to be none other than... We don't know his real name, as Eric Foreman said, so we call him Fez.
Hell yeah. I like Fez.
So he's going to be your main guy tonight.
I quite like Fez, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would necessarily say he's, like, my favorite. Obviously not, like, my favorite character. One of, but Fez made me laugh plenty.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I would hope that to last as long as they did, and they did for a sitcom, like that year that they went on air, they were the only show that survived cancellation, actually, in, like, fall of 1998. Because they're the only ones, like, everything else is flopped, or it fucking had a short stint in it, so that 70s show got great ratings from the get, and some of its, like, earlier seasons were the strongest. They always maintained a good rating, but is some of the, says, like, 7 and 8, it started to, like, you know, go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, people knew Eric was leaving. He was
That's
going off to film Spider-Man 3, which is ironic because...
I'm going to go start my film. That's the weird thing, though, is I feel like Topher Grace, like, secretly had a decent career for himself and got pretty rich, because you never, like, hear about him as, like, a big movie star or anything like that, but there's been a handful of films that I'm like, I watch and not really knowing that he's in it, and then I'm like, oh fuck, that's him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, he still pops up in things. Like, last year, I'm pretty sure I saw a movie in the theaters that he was in. Like, maybe it was Heretic. Just like, yeah, he just randomly pops up and stuff still, but you don't, like, think of him as being, like, this hotshot, like, movie star ever. I think it's the way he likes it.
Yeah, I mean, he does, like, appearances, like, here and there. Like, I watched the episode that Whitney Cummings had him on. I, like, watched from, like, several years back, because he never even does stuff like that. So I was like, I'll watch it, because he just doesn't really do a lot of public stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll watch it and see what he has to say. He, like, seems very much like he's just kind of been this, you know, which is differentiated from Eric, like, to some degree, but he also has a lot alike with Eric, I feel like, too. But I don't know. Like he kind of does do his own thing and stay to himself, and so I don't know. He's been in some stuff. Like he wasn't he
he's
like David
definitely
Duke
in
and
a lot of
whatever
stuff.
the hell that was?
Yeah, that was in
Black Klansman.
Black Klansman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. He was in that Take Me Home Tonight movie.
Yeah. But no,
He was obviously Venom. But what's ironic was he was a fan of Spider-Man, Eric Foreman, and he went off and left the show for the season to film Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like irony.
He's the nerdy guy.
So next up, well, at least first up here, we've got Fez, man. One of the main 6 in the cast, mind you. Fez, or Mitch Miller. He kind of had a rivalry with Mitch a little bit. So did Eric.
Yeah. I feel like
different
Eric
roles in the
had
show.
more of a rivalry. Eric had more of a reason to have a rivalry.
They had kind of a rivalry because he had those pictures of him kissing Kelso down by the lake. And like that was there when the whole sex dream was going on, like that Fez had about Kelso sponging him in season 5.
Yeah.
It was like towards the end. And that like led into Hyde thinking Jackie was cheating on him with Kelso because she was comforting in him, and that just, obviously drew it up for, drama purposes. But like, so he kind of had a rivalry with them a little bit. Like with Eric, whenever they were doing that whole father-son thing in season 5, and they were like milking the cow and building. He's like, all you had to do is build a cabin out of Lincoln logs.
Yeah, and Mitch and his dad were like
That was
whooping their ass.
That was Mitch's first time in the show, I think. That's for his first guest spot, and then he had a bigger role in like season 6.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, Mitch was pretty hilarious. I like Seth Green though. I think he's just funny. Like a lot of the times when I see him, you don't see him as much at all anymore for sure. But yeah,
You hear him in Family Guy.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his.
Mhm.
He's doing like Robot Chicken and stuff still too, right? Is that
I'm
still
not sure.
running or is that
I'm
done?
not sure.
Yeah, he made that too.
It's been a long time.
But that being said, I gotta go Fez.
Yeah.
I feel like he was more of a staple of the show and he meant more to the show. And like, when it comes down to it, I laughed more at Fez and I was on Fez's side more. A lot of the times Mitch made me laugh and I was like, this guy's a son of a bitch.
Oh,
you know
no,
what I mean?
for sure,
That's
it's
why I was laughing at him. Like, I didn't like Mitch, but I thought that
he was funny.
Seth Green and the character
Yeah.
was funny.
Oh yeah. And then they brought him back in that '90s show too for like that little stint.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Funny.
Still after Donna and shit.
He don't look much different either, to be honest. All these years
No.
later, just a little older. So next up, talk about main staple of the show. We've got Fez or Eric Foreman.
Damn. That's a tough one. Kind of, really. Because Eric's the same way. Like, the show obviously wouldn't be what it is without Eric.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not necessarily my favorite of the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
at times he's your favorite,
he
like
is.
with what's
I
going
root
on
for
with
him,
him.
like, all the time.
Or his jokes.
Basically.
Yeah. But all the way through, yeah, if you had to rank it, yeah, I can see why that would be way harder to put him up there. But, like, no, at times his jokes or his storyline was definitely the best. I mean,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, too, is the difference, not to go too far off, but, like, the difference between That 70s Show and Friends, since I just binged both, is that 70s Show is it's surrounding some of the other characters as well eventually as the show grows and moves on. But at first, it's surrounding Eric, his parents, his girlfriend, Donna, and then his friends, like his group. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Friends is kind of following all 6 of the cast more or less pretty equally. I mean, at times, different
It's
ones.
kind of through the
But it's a
lens
little
of
different.
Eric
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
Yeah. So that's like one of the distinctions in even the storyline, like telling of both shows, especially since like I just watched both and
I mean, there's
Okay.
episodes where Eric's not as big of a part. and
Yeah, for
stuff,
sure.
But yeah, I would say Eric just because, yeah, he was, like I said, the show obviously wouldn't be what it was if there wasn't Eric. So it's like, it's hard to not, and that's the thing too, like I said, I rooted for Eric basically the whole time throughout the show. In a lot of ways, in a lot of moments, I felt like I related to Eric.
Yeah.
You know? So that's probably why he wasn't my favorite. Because he was the like relatable main character. So it was kind of like, oh, I don't want to like, I feel like I am that guy. I don't want to be that guy. You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was times when, that would be a hard answer.
But yeah, Eric was an important character, and I definitely liked him. He made me laugh a shitload too.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he was, anytime that he got like drunk and shit, it was some of the best shit.
Yeah.
He was definitely one of the funniest, like fucked up, I feel like, out of the entire group.
Oh yeah.
Eric was the man. It was his house.
Eddie?
Literally, I mean, it was
Red's house, which is what was weird about fucking Randy hanging out.
Yeah, Randy
like,
should have got the fuck out of there. Honestly, they could have hung out with Randy if they wanted, but if y'all are gonna hang out at Eric's house, he can't really be there.
That's weird.
If he hasn't even met the guy, like it feels kind of weird. I guess if he like was cool with Kitty and Red, but even still, like they felt skeptical about him.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So you're taking Eric, huh?
No respect. Eric could have came back and just said fuck everyone for not having his back, not being there for him. He left.
Oh yeah.
Went to Africa, helped fucking people in need, and all his friends turned their back on him.
Why would Donna make out with Randy in Eric's room too, though? It's just like what? Like I mean, like why would they do that?
Yeah,
in the first
man, it's
place?
wrong.
But that shit was fucked. That was so weird. They didn't need him.
If you're gonna,
they didn't need Randy in the group.
You're gonna meet a new guy or whatever. Shit, like how? Why my room?
No, not there.
Yeah,
they don't need to be in there. Like that was kind of fucked.
Yeah, Team Eric.
The loyalty. What the fuck?
I feel like there was times where I definitely was like, Eric, you fucked up tonight, you know, but I was definitely Team Eric a lot of the time throughout the series, I feel like.
Well, next up is going to be Fez or Stephen Hyde.
Man, I feel like Hyde was like, everybody wanted to think they were Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the character. That it was like,
yeah, because he was the guy that was always pretty nonchalant and cool and like just laid back and, you know, felt like the more experienced one, whether they were like smoking weed or like getting, you know, like just kind of that guy.
Yeah. Even though not a lot of people really are like Hyde. Like Hyde had a rough upbringing, and he just kind of learned to.
He was mature at a younger
live
age.
and let live, you know. Yeah, like he kind of was forced to mature at a young age, and he was kind of a burnout loser in probably a lot of people's eyes, especially in that era. But he was definitely like, he knew his shit. He was street smart. You know, like he knew his shit at a young age. Like he wasn't going to get. He was the last one in the group that was going to get like one pulled over on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was too like aware and
Yeah, I mean I thought Hyde was like probably one of the cooler characters. I'd probably say Hyde.
Yeah, probably me too.
I think he's probably one of the cooler characters.
For a while, like Fez was kind of like his, you know, kind of protege, like buddy, like role in a lot of ways, you know, because they were always.
I mean, obviously, it's hard not to talk about Hyde, not talk about Danny Masterson as the guy, but like when you separate the guy from the character, like Hyde himself was a great character.
Yeah.
Danny, he might have been up to some fuck shit.
Yeah.
During that time, but
or after that, or 10 years after that. But yeah,
But yeah, I
exactly.
think
Stephen
Hyde
Hyde
as a character, he was like,
he definitely like had
He
a
was
pretty
a
big
cool guy.
role, especially in the first few seasons, like moving in with Eric's family,
and he was
like,
a decent guy
being
too. Like
taken in. He was.
underneath all that, like he was rough around the edges and kind of like he came off as an asshole because he wanted to, but he did have a heart and he wasn't going to be like.
Well,
If he cared about you, he wasn't going to really fuck you over.
and I feel like in a lot of ways, I think me and you talked about this, or maybe you is being whenever he was with Jackie, it made her a little more humble and a little like approach life differently than like the spoiled little princess she was before then.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was just like straight up like, listen, I'm not doing this and this for you, blah blah blah. Because at first he was really like he rejected it for a long time. He was like, I'm not because she wanted to go on dates with him and all that stuff, like the characters, and he just wouldn't do it. And then Jackie Bags Hyde, well, that was one of my favorite episodes of all time. That was the Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah, that was a good episode.
That was my top 10, no doubt about it. That was one of the earliest episodes I remember seeing, too. And it's just a fucking hoot. It's a great one. But that's probably my top 10.
Bob and Red just like feuding over having the better picnic.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, Eric and Nana were being asses to each other because their dads are competing and stuff. And then it turns out like Bob was, was going bankrupt, and it was like, oh shit, like, So it was like a whole thing, and it had like a deeper reason and everything too. Like that was one of the best episodes. Like especially
like,
for
Eric,
a one-off.
He was in the National Guard.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best like quotes of all time. It's called Veterans Day. Yeah, that was one of the greats of all time. Oh man,
Red always served up some of the best lines.
He did. Yeah, he did. So you're gonna take Hyde over Fez?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next up we have got Fez or Lori Foreman.
Man, yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah. It was Lisa Robin Kelly.
Yeah.
I think she passed in like 2014, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she
had her struggles
played
even
that
on
character.
the show.
Oh yeah,
So
she played that character to perfection, though.
yeah,
like,
she did. 100%.
What
Like the original Lori.
was needed out of Lori. Yeah.
Oh boy, this is also another thing.
But yeah, and then they replaced Lori, and that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was. They didn't like what I noticed this last rewatch was I'm like they didn't really give her a ton of lines, and she was there, but more so to kind of like put a cap on the her and Fez being married storyline. You know what I mean? That was most of the reason she was there, and like so, I hate also that they did it, but I think once the original Lori couldn't come back after the end of season 5, like because I think she was just fell into her troubles again.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, well, we've got to tie up this storyline somehow. So they're like, let's. I'm not a fan of it either. I hate when they do that, which, this will come back around later. So we'll put a pin in that. But just the fact, of course, not a fan of that, replacing the character with somebody else. Or any character with somebody else when we've so obviously seen them as somebody else the whole time.
Yeah, that's
Granted-
so weird.
Granted, there have been times where in a series or in something else, it has been unknowingly just better. Like the first one went under the radar, and then they're like, okay, and then they made a second and so on, and they're like, oh, this is the guy. But there has been times when it's just kind of, it's whatever. But like I said, this will put a pin in that. But anyway, yeah, Fez or Lori, and I do think she did a magnificent fucking job. Those first 3 seasons, it's important to point that out. They might be 3 of the best seasons, if not the top 3.
Probably, yeah.
For me, I know I would go 3, 2, 1 in that order back. Like
I'd probably go. You'd go 3,
3, 2, 1
first. Yeah, it's hard for me.
3 was so like dense at the same time having many of the
2, 3, 1, but
3 had so many of the classic episodes too. Like the beginning was the Reefer Madness, the Red Sea's Red, the Promise Ring, and like the kind of you could kind of see the trickle down of Eric and Donna's relationship as it became a little bit untrusting and started to deteriorate a little bit before like she turned the promise ring away. So it was kind of like a deeper season. It was like Midge and Lori were still there, and I was a fan of both those characters, and you know, just like the original cast, which is what the first 3 seasons mostly had. So like once you start off the show and you get attached to those characters too, like you don't want to see them leave. And Tanya Roberts and Lisa Robin Kelly had to go for their own reasons. So I think Tanya Roberts, who's Midge, had like a divorce going on and stuff like that, so she had to leave for a while. She came back like in the 6th and 7th show, or 7th season of the show for a little stint.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I was a fan of her character. I just thought she was like, again, she was kind of a villain at a lot of times too, but she was like a funny character. But
she did some maniacal shit. Like remember whenever she was like ready to break things off with Kelso, and she made sure Jackie was watching before she like, so like, oh, one last thing after like she had already taken it back and all that, and he's like, I would really like it if we could have one more goodbye kiss, and then he does it because she knows Jackie's watching, and then so they break up their, you know, relationship that should be going on, and he loses his actual girlfriend at the same time, just like that.
I mean,
that's something she would do. I mean, but that's the character.
That was gonna happen to her.
Character is just she played it so well.
Yeah.
She was really good at it.
Yeah, as good as she was at that, I gotta say Fez still.
Yeah.
Just because he was just like, Fez was more lovable.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he was in the show for much longer, too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they changed Lori as well. The character in itself, Lori. So, like, if you take that into account, it's kind of like, because the original Lori was just like, she was the character.
Yeah.
So, putting it on somebody else after it was so established as one person's role.
She played it in such a way that, it was hard to... That's why they probably didn't give her many lines, and they had to wrap that storyline up, but it just sucks, you know, at the same time. That's one of the... Because, we're both such fans of the show, one of the worst, kind of... recastings after something like that happened.
Yeah.
That are like of note, you know?
Yeah, because it's just so noticeable. She had such a part in the show already by that point.
They were in a bind though, so I take that into account too. And I'm like, they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah. It is what it is now, It's out there. It's been out there for a long ass time. So
the show has almost been done 20 years. Next year it'll be 20. So, all right, Fez you took, huh? So it's a 2-2 split so far. Next up, we've got Fez or Michael Kelso. One of the great characters in TV show history, probably.
Yeah, he was a dumbass. Yeah. In the best way.
He was great.
He was like very, very comedic. As just an absolute moron. Oh yeah.
Well, it's like what I've talked about when we were talking about how Reg, we're like, oh man, everything he delivers, he might be like the best character in the show. And Kelso is my original favorite character in the show, and then I went through periods where I was like, no, I think Eric is. No, I think Hyde is. I'm like, it's kind of like what you're saying. I'm like, he's not that I thought, oh, I'm him. I mean, I have traits alike to him. I'm not saying that's the character I'm most like though. But I have traits, I feel like, with several of the group anyway. Yeah. But the other thing is, you go through those different eras, and so I was like, oh, Eric, maybe Hyde, maybe a combination of them two, maybe, and then we take the Red thing into account. And I'm like, man, even going way back to the original stuff and the situations and the way he would react, I'm like, man, I think Red is number one, but Kelso's got to be going. He's one of the great TV show characters, I feel like there is.
Yeah.
But Ashton Kutcher was
it kind of made him in a lot of ways.
And then I'm sure he got annoying to be typecasted in that goof role, though, for a
while. The butterfly effect helped with that, though.
Yeah.
That was the first one that was kind of outside that. And that's still one of my favorite movies, probably.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I probably gotta say Kelso, just because. Again, he wasn't always a character that you like rooted for or that you like agreed with anything he was doing, but he was just like when you were just along for the journey with this dude, it was just like it was just like so laughable
Oh yeah.
the situations he got himself into.
Oh yeah.
You know.
He's at his like heart and at his core, I don't think he meant to do bad, but he was so naive and just thought he could do so much because like, you know, he had his good looks and stuff like that. And he just got himself constantly into terrible situations.
Oh yeah.
But alrighty, well next up we've got Fez or Leo. I forget Leo's last name, although I think they said it at one point in the show. This is 6th out of the competitors.
That's tough. Leo, yeah, man, he
Tommy
was,
Chong, baby.
yeah, that's the thing too, is it being him as well. Because he was like, out of the side characters, he's probably my favorite one. I would think. He had some lines that were dumbass, but him as a character is just like, Leo was also very lovable. You know, there was nothing to like dislike or hate about the guy, really.
Damn, you know who I didn't even think about? I don't know who's on your list, but just while it's on my mind, was like Kitty's parents or like even Red's mom, who was only in like the first season. You know?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel bad because like Kitty had to hear it from not only Red's mom as like the mother-in-law, her own mother, like they were both shitty to her.
Oh yeah.
And she did like everything for those kids. And like both her like mother-in-law and her mom shit on her
Oh yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah, they sucked.
But her dad was pretty good, man. Was a pretty good man to her though, I feel like. But he was just like, he was trying to get away from his wife the whole time.
Yeah, he's sleeping and shit all the time.
Oh, just lean back. Betty White, man.
Yep.
Damn.
Legend.
Yeah. She was great though, even in her role.
Yeah. Man, it's might be a shock, but I might have to take Leo.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a complete shock. I just didn't know where you stood as far as that goes, though.
Yeah. I think, like, it is really tough, but that one is, like, one of the closer ones for sure so far. But
I can see that. I don't know who I would take
I
there.
think Leo's just, he's just, like, Tommy Chong. I love Tommy Chong. He's just a legend himself, and that was a character that was basically Tommy Chong. You know, like that was written for him to be him.
Yeah.
So I have to go with him.
And then like later on, like in the 8th season, you find out he's actually a veteran, and like since the guys like the jazz band that picked him up and introduced him to marijuana, his life has just never been the same.
And just dove into it. I mean, I'm sure he got back from the war and was a little fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And then he like started smoking that. He's like, this is honestly, I feel great.
That's hilarious. Like we didn't find that out until he said that earlier in the season. He's like, hey man. He like said that when him and Hyde were in the photo hut. And he's like, I think I'm a veteran.
Yeah, he forgot about his life and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, dude, that was so funny. It was honestly kind of funny and like admirable, like the bond that him and Hyde formed, because like in a weird way, he like even Hyde looked at him as like a father figure too. You know, he's like, oh damn. And then, like, once he's like, oh, man, my parents split on me. And Leo's like, yeah, my kids did split on me. And he's like, hey, man, you want to be my father? It's like, yeah, that's the way that should go.
I mean, they were good for each other.
They were, though. They were. It's funny because, like, whenever he came back in the season 7, he didn't remember Eric at first either. And he's like, hey, do I know you, man? After talking to him for a few.
Yeah.
And then he's like saying hi to
That was
Hyde.
his thing anyway.
Whenever he got back to the record store, he said he found him for the first time, or maybe in the basement. He's like, "Wait a minute, you're Hyde, man!" And like Hyde is just, you could tell he just is like psyched because he's like, "Damn, Leo remembered me." Like he didn't really remember anybody else, but you know they had a bond in the show.
Even in that '90s show when he like ran into them on the trail, God, Leia and what was Kelso's kid's name? Jackie and Kelso.
Betsy.
No,
Jackie and
the boy.
Oh, you mean in that '90s show?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember it.
Damn, this is bad.
But when they were on that like trail on their date,
Jay
and Leia, and they ran into Leo, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he like told them the way to get out and shit. He's like, "You just go up this way, and you see the big rock," and like they got lost again and circled their way around, and they like found Leo again and shit. And he's like, "Hey guys, how do you get out of here?" You told us.
It's hilarious that he's around that much later and he doesn't look like any fucking different.
Yeah.
Oh man. I
So
don't know,
weak,
man.
man.
Some
He's
of
like
these
the
guys
Willie
are like-
Nelson.
yeah, Willie Nelson. That's what I was gonna say. He's just aging fine. So you're gonna take Leo, huh?
Yep.
All right. Next up, we've got Fez or Jackie Burkhart.
Honestly, Jackie was another one of those characters that, like, Milo's perfect. She played her
Yeah.
perfectly.
She did grow as the show went on too. I
Yeah.
mean, like really, and like actually on the, like her character grew a lot too.
Mm. Yeah. Man, that's a tough one too, because like Jackie was hateable, but meant to be hateable.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, and what's ironic about this is like really, Fez and Jackie are the two that were kind of on the outside of the group. Like Fez, whenever he came as a foreign exchange student over, and Jackie because she was Kelso's girlfriend. But like Kelso, Hyde, Donna, and Eric grew up together, and like they were all four always friends. Like, and then you know, kind of Kelso and Jackie and Fez like came in and stuff, and then like that made the six. But it was just kind of interesting, like how they both acclimated, like you know, stayed part of even how they showed like what happened with the group and stuff. Which is why it makes it crazy that by the 8th season, two of like your very main are just extracted from the show, being Kelso and Eric. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't feel right, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, of course, the lead characters.
It's definitely missing something.
Yeah. But no, my only point is it's definitely going to be missing something like that whenever, you know, two of the characters like at the forefront of the show are kind of removed from the show, you know? And those are the characters and those are the actors that are going to get the opportunities because they're the ones that are up there. I guess really any of the kids could have been, which I mean, I think they all had some offers to do stuff. But
yeah. I mean, I feel like, honestly, and this is probably another hot take, I'd probably take Jackie. And it's probably partially because I've always had a crush on Mila Kunis.
yeah.
I grew up watching the show, and I was into her then. And, like, I'm still like, man, Mila Kunis is an attractive woman, you know? So there's probably a partial bias in that sense, I would suppose. But I also think that character wouldn't have been what it was without her.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah. She brought it to life for sure.
She was what it needed. And I mean, not that, obviously, I feel like all of them you can make that argument with, but it was her define, like kind of like Ashton Kutcher, like launched them into something else.
It did.
You know.
No, all I was gonna say is make the parallel for a second. I was like, she was, and not obviously not saying directly the exact same, but she was like Rachel Green in another city and a lot younger. You know what I'm saying, after Rachel Green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, she was, like, in a lot of ways, like, it wasn't, you know, a complete parallel, but, like, those characters do share a lot of the same qualities. And at times, like, there were times, like, whenever I watched Friends a second time, where I was like, you know, she wasn't as, you know, and the kids in that 70s show, like, are younger, so they're going to be, like, you know, me and you were talking about probably episodes back, is that you're going to have some of the more immaturity and stuff like that in some of the stuff. And, like, so she came off, I want to say, like, at her most hateful. I don't know if Rachel was really that hateful in, like, Friends in that sense. Like, she had some of Jackie whenever she first got, like, she moved into the apartment and everything like that, and it was kind of like that for a while, but she became really likable in a lot of, you know, a lot of ways. And I definitely feel like Jackie was, you know, they were several years younger, but she was very much, you know, got under your skin the first, like, few seasons for sure, you know. And at times, like, some of it was even warranted because Kelso was out there being an idiot, but, like, at the same time, you're still like, Jesus Christ, she's still, like, you know.
She's meant to.
But she was, yeah. She did a great job.
Get under your skin, for sure.
She did a fantastic job at it, for sure.
Yeah, I thought she was, like, a pretty great character, honestly.
I thought all of them were casted perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the main 6 characters, even in the parents, really.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of the parents were
some
of the best characters.
Like even into Lord, like, were cast in Leo, were, like, just absolutely cast.
That was a
to
perfect
perfection.
show.
It was, like, they were all excellent. So Jackie, you said you took Jackie then?
Yeah.
Well, might not get any easier here. Because next up we've got Fez or Red Foreman.
Yeah. I mean, I think
the foreign
you personally know where it's probably going. But Red's my favorite character.
Oh,
so
yeah, probably mine too.
I'd have to say Red for sure. But, and this is no, like, knock on Fez. Like I said, I still laugh at a lot of Fez's stuff, and I still like him as a character. But, like, yeah, out of the group, he might be my least favorite. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really hard to say. But
I know. I think he is my least favorite out of the boys, like, at least.
Yeah.
I just, like, the thing is, the other ones were so good and so rich, too, that I'm like, because it's not like he did anything to make him, like, less. It's like he played that character great, Wilmer Valderrama. But, yeah, whenever it comes down to it, I'm like, because I love them all. Like, I love the parents, the cast, like Lori, even Bob and Midge, and, like, you know, some of the side characters. I'm like, almost everybody was casted to perfection.
Yeah.
And just, I would say the same thing for Friends, too. But, you know, so it's like, I don't really hate that many. I hate sometimes traits about the characters and storyline arcs do annoy you, and they're annoying then. But most of the characters it was, you know, like you said, it was written that way. So it's like, they're meant to get under your skin, or, like, for you to be like, wow, I hard disagree with them here, you know? So it's like, it's good, you know, especially if you feel something, just kind of keeping up with it and everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, dude, but Red,
great.
Some of the best lines in the show, for sure. Like, and he would just catch you off guard, or you knew something was coming. Like, there would be moments where some shit would happen, and, like, if he saw it, or he was there, or you knew he was gonna see it, you're like, oh boy. Like, you anticipated what he had to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, that's the thing too, though. He obviously had a big heart, because he let all those kids hang out there all the time. And
he did, yeah.
Like,
he had a big heart,
eat
like,
his food and chill, and but he also was stern. And it was like he was a 70s dad. You know what I mean? He was just like,
I fought
it's
two
my
wars.
house. You guys are gonna follow my guidelines. You're gonna
Oh,
get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah. But no, he honestly he did, because like his attitude, you would never think he'd put up with, like, 4 or 5, maybe even more extra kids, and possibly from time to time their friends in the house, in and out all the time. It's just like to put up with that, like, and yeah, and the food and all that shit. Because he really
tolerate that.
He really could have been more of a dick in ways than he was about like that part, But no, he definitely was that. I fought 2 wars. Hell, I killed people. And then I'll never forget, like, he leans over to whoever he was talking to, and he wants to reassure him. He's like, "Hey, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it."
Yeah, he was something.
Yeah.
But there was like a piece of Red that you always like respected
For sure.
within the show too. Like
because you knew he was an admirable like man, like human being.
He
at his core.
He did right by his family
He did.
and by the people he cared about, and he
put it on his back. The first season was a little bit detrimental because like they're like, oh, he's losing his job and all this.
Well, that was
happening.
the thing too, is Kitty, especially for her era with the 70s and stuff, like she was a very strong woman too, because she had she was a nurse and she kind of provided for the family for a while.
Yeah,
and
a
stuff,
lot of the show.
And she became the school nurse, or she was gonna become the school nurse.
Yeah,
and didn't.
But yeah, she was doing it at different times and like didn't like Red was like, yeah, it's fine, and she's like, I want to stay busy anyway, but she like wanted to care for all the kids and Eric and Lori and everything too. Those motherly instincts, but yeah, she didn't deserve it, man. They were fucking, her mother and her mother-in-law were dicks to her.
Yeah. Yeah, Kitty was like one of the hardest workers on the damn show.
Yeah. Dude, she's resilient as fuck. And she like played a whole ass character and had arcs in Friends too. With like Phoebe's half brother, who was like that creepy dude in Ted.
Yeah.
Him whenever he was like 19 with Kitty, or she was like however old by then, like 50 something. They're like, oh, they had like a thing in Friends as early as like the 3rd or 4th season or something like that. And like they had triplets that like Phoebe was like the surrogate
triplets.
for. Yeah, oh yeah. They're like, oh, we want to ask you, and like it turned out as triplets, and like Phoebe was like the surrogate for them, and she like so yeah, that was like a whole part in like maybe I want to say like the 4th season.
A bunch of Friends.
You should, honestly, it's great. It's worth watching, and I'm saying that is not like one of the like kiss ass like die on the hill of Friends
you're a
people.
fan, though.
But I am a fan.
Got the poster
because
there.
it's fucking, but it's good,
Yeah.
But like, I'm a fan of a lot of things. But yeah, it's great. I mean, it was one of the breakthrough sitcoms for sure. And for the longest time, I like talked trash because I didn't watch it and like I didn't know how funny it was or wasn't.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what was that one?
Oh yeah, Red Foreman for sure.
All right, so alrighty. Well, we got 2 more on the board here. Next up is going to be Fez or Donna Pinciotti.
Damn.
That is all of the group now we've put on here.
Yeah.
And we still have one more.
Yeah. See, again, tough. But Donna was another one that was like, she was relatable and likable, and you cheered for Donna a lot. You know what I mean? Fez was kind of off the wall, a lot of the time.
There was time, like, I do agree with you for absolutely, like, probably in almost like the 95 or at least percent range with like Donna, but I'm like, there was a few times where she overreacted
She did
to
things
dumb things.
you were pissed off about.
So
I
you're
mean,
like,
the 8th
why does
season
this
too,
even fucking matter?
with the stuff with Randy.
Well, I mean, like with her relationship with Eric,
Yeah, that
there
too.
was things that like I was like, this is what. Even trying to take into account like the perspective, there was times when I'm like, okay, this is just a stupid thing. Like, who gives a fuck?
Give us an example here. What are we talking about?
Okay.
We gotta know now. But I think I
There's
know
times.
what you're talking
Yeah, I was
about
gonna
with
say.
her. Is it like
Okay,
I
no.
remember-
Okay. This is a really good one. Actually, this is a layup, really. And it does count. But the man ring with Eric, like he couldn't tell her up like at the forefront, oh, that I don't like it and I think it's ugly, because like that's your person that you care about, like that you care for a lot in the world. You don't want to tell them in their face that you don't like the gift or the thing they got you. You're like, oh. Especially something more on the expensive side.
Yeah.
So it's like that is something relatable that like I can totally understand. And she's like, oh well, I look at it like you lied to me and this and that. It's just like, okay, like how? And he even said, which I think she ultimately agreed with, because he's like, not to sound cliche or corny, I'm just quoting the show, but he's like, well, how can I look at you in the face and tell you I don't like the ring whenever I love you so much, And it's like that. I totally get that thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, how could you be mad and fucking flip shit on, you know what I mean? Because it's like, if you see it the other way, it's like, I can't always...
You're not going to accept if they are
you should be honest,
to give you
but
this gift and you open it and you're like...
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, immediately.
Exactly.
Like,
That's a
I
great
really
example.
like this,
Yeah. That's one of the most that I think is like very fair too, that is just, and I think sometimes in the first few seasons of the relationship too, but that was like a one that I really was like, man, I can 100% understand that.
Well, I also was thinking about the time where Kelso set fire to Jackie's place when they had that party.
Yeah.
And Eric got drunk and he was like singing on the piano to her and stuff, and then after the party she was like really pissed at him. She's like, you embarrassed the hell out of me.
Oh yeah.
That one I was kind of like, well, what?
She did cut him down.
It was kind of like, what did it really matter though? Like, it was just your friends and a bunch of random like people you went to school with and shit there. Yeah. It's not like it was like
she acted like it was going to be a fancy dinner party
that you had to impress there.
Yeah.
And yeah, he got a little drunk and out of hand, but it's not like he was doing anything inappropriate. He was like singing to you. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he was a little like drunk and out of control, but he wasn't being an asshole or being like up on anybody else or anything like that. He was like into you.
Yeah.
But just being obnoxious.
And then the thing is too, is like he being Kelso, he lights the fire, like throws a cigar in the trash can, and then tries to throw it out with fucking liquor. And it's just like, it only adds to it. And he's like, whoa, give me your brandies. It's like, how is that a good idea at all?
Yeah.
And so he throws him in there, and it fucking, but it's just like,
everybody
everybody else in the group, everybody else besides Kelso knew that liquor was flammable, and he's just like, because Hyde and Fez are just sitting there laughing because they know it, and they're just like, oh fuck, he's just fucking up.
What assholes though? Like, don't let her parents' house fucking burn down.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and the whole thing of it is, I think that plays into the whole seeding of the storyline, though. She didn't invite them to that party because there's only supposed to be like 10 people classy party she wanted.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I didn't invite you and Fez. She invited Eric and Donna, Kelso, obviously, and then some other friends. And then Fez and Hyde just show up at the door.
And a bunch of other people, though. Right?
Yeah.
Because it turned into like a party.
Because Kelso's like, well, I was thinking if 10 times, or if a party of 10 would be fun, then a party of 30 would be 10 times as fun or something. The math, whatever, didn't add up. or twice as much fun, maybe you said. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Wasn't a classy party at that point, though.
But no, that, and here's another one. Whenever he ran over a cat, it's like,
I mean, that was wrong.
no. I'm not saying she had any reason not to feel warranted about being upset about that. I'm saying, like, you shouldn't ever
He would
lie.
feel
You
like
shouldn't.
shit
You
about
shouldn't
that,
lie
too.
about that exactly. But how do you tell that person, that same person we were just talking about the ring and exchanging, and being, not want to tell them? How do you tell them that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you should ever lie about it, but like, how do you even bring yourself to?
That would just be, yeah. Like,
You know what I mean? And
that would be
yeah.
gut wrenching.
Exactly.
Like, oh,
So I'm like, things like that
God.
too.
Because you, to a degree, care about that cat too. Like, it was close enough to
Yeah.
you. You were dating the girl that was the owner of this cat. It was across the street, and it was in your yard all the time. Like, so yeah, that would be rough on both ends of the spectrum, though. That's what's tough about that one. It's because it's like, yeah, she's definitely warranted to feel very upset about that, but also, you gotta kind of see it from Eric's point that he
It's
feels absolutely horrible about it.
trying to like
Yeah.
wreck himself over trying to figure out how to tell her. You know what I mean? Like that's the relatable part. Now, nobody's saying she can't be upset about, because either way the cat's dead, even if it's, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's whatever the case is.
But it's also like he let her look for that cat for a little bit and believe that it was alive. You know what I mean? That's where it's a little like.
But where's the line?
Once
Like,
you
on
put
how
up,
soon
once
you're
you
supposed
put
to
up
tell
the
them.
missing posters and you're like calling, you're like out there actively like, asking people about it, putting up, like, you gotta tell the person.
I don't think that was going on. But yeah, no. Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent for sure. But like, I mean the difference between telling them within 10 minutes or 48 hours.
yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, it's
That's
gonna be
what I
hard
mean.
to tell that person immediately.
Because it's like,
how are you not?
yeah.
You're gonna have to wrap your own head around this.
And that's what his was like basically within like a day or two, I think. And he's
But
like,
did he bury her? Didn't he bury him?
I don't know.
I
don't know what they
I don't
did.
remember.
Well, they
what
just
happened.
scraped it into, because like remember he ran over her, and then, or no, it was like Mr. Whiskers, I think, and he fucking sweeped it into the dustpan and just dumped them in the trash.
Oh God.
I think that's all he did.
Was that Red that did that?
No, that was Eric, because he was like cleaning it up, and she's like, "Oh, nice." She's like, "It's pretty spotless," and then he's just like, "Oh," and then he's like, "Oh, you know me, I'm just super neat, whatever." And she's like, "Oh, have you seen Mr. And so he like let it play into that, and he's like, "No, I haven't seen him since last night." But he was caught by surprise by her showing up there, and
That brought up some traumatic shit. I definitely haven't told this on the. I don't even think I should tell this on the podcast.
What
to
is
be
it?
honest. Like, my job, dumping trash,
Might as well
emptying
tell
waste baskets. You find some crazy shit sometimes. I mean, dude, I've saved live animals out of the trash handfuls of times. Like possums, raccoons, mice. If they're alive in there, I try to get them out. So just let that be known. But I swear one time, like, there was this heavy trash can. So I put it on the lift and I let the lift do the work, ran the blade. But I saw within the midst of the trash a dead cat. And that, you saying you empty it in the trash, it just brought that memory back in my head of seeing that in the trash. Just being like, dude, how, like, I guess because it was on a busy street. that I was picking the trash up. I guess if it's not your cat, you don't know where it came from, what do you do?
That's pretty eerie.
But at the same time, like, a cat is like a pet, like a house animal. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard to just think about just disposing of it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not burying it or doing something else with the cat. You know what I mean? I guess if it's not yours and it's in front of your house on the street, you got to do something about it. But yeah, man, just that day, that was just a surprise that day, because I was just like seeing them, like,
yeah, it's kind of,
you know. But yeah, man, on more positive notes of that, like,
no, that's eerie that somebody was just like, oh,
that happened. Yeah.
I mean, it is, you couldn't control what the hell was in the trash.
No. And I mean, there's things that we don't take. I guess that's not technically on the list of that, but I think that there's actually like a decomp pickup. There's like a driver on our route that does it, but he does like the single routes, you know what I mean? But he has it on a day. That's why, dude, I feel like once I become a single route driver, like, I feel like I'm gonna get stuck with that shit. But he has to go to the decomp site once a week, and like, I forget if it's Jefferson County or St. Louis County, but he picks up like the roadkill. It's literally just roadkill.
Trigger Man. That goes back to that 70s show where Eric's looking for a job and all the jobs involve fucking picking up roadkill or dead animals on the side of the road. All of them sometimes. Anyway,
hey, man,
go back to your
You gotta do it.
Somebody's
Somebody's gotta do it.
And then he's like, oh yeah, no, somebody does have to do it. And like, you're not even the one, you're just collecting the shit and getting it fucking off the road.
Yeah, I'm not having to scrape it up. Feel bad for that person.
Trigger Man. And then that dude, he looked red. Like, that dude that was like, in fucking that, whenever they did the, the whole program with the school, like the job fair,
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, and Eric's like, you gotta be kidding me, because he like red fired him for Price Mart, and that was when he was looking for another job. And the guy's like, yeah, after two other ones that already offered to be like, oh, you can scrape the roadkill off the side of the road. And the guy's like, he's like, you have any? I've always been fascinated with meat. Do you have any jobs available? And he's like, Trigger Man. He's like, you've got to be kidding me. And the guy's like, cows don't kill themselves, son. Although I did see one jump right off a cliff once. But yeah, side note, that
I
backs
think that
back
I'd
into
rather
itself.
pick up the roadkill than to consistently have to shoot the drill in the cows' heads.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a little more psychologically mess with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I work out on the roads all day. And I'm a trash man. Like, I see dead animals quite often. That wouldn't be as big of a deal to me in any capacity as having to consistently to these cows just standing there.
Dude, I had to pump my brakes like early in the morning. I was like gonna, go down my normal way out of here, like to work and everything. And I was like, holy shit! Like there was multiple deer in the road, and I couldn't see why somebody in front of me was slowing down. And
You're
then I
by
saw
Jefferson
him.
Barracks,
Right,
that's why.
And I saw him right where I was. I was like, oh shit! So I slowed down, and I was like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna be especially going into fall and winter. I'm like, man, I'm definitely, and I had to last year, of course, too. But I was like, I'm definitely gonna have to be careful, just because so many of them are,
around this
going
area.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially like as it gets colder, you'll see them probably. So, But yeah, one day I was really like, I mean, it wasn't like right in front of me. They were more so like on the sides and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, they're right in the middle of the road. But they just don't get. I mean, they're always around people up here, so it's like they
that's
don't.
the thing.
You know, they don't really care.
They get fed and stuff.
What were you saying about the whole?
No, it got kind of morbid. I don't even remember what.
Oh,
the
you're talking about?
topic
I would
was.
rather not do the Trigger Man shit, like that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
At least they in the head.
Yeah, I'd much rather not do that. I'd scrape the roadkill.
So this goes back to being Donna Pinciotti on your list.
Damn.
So Fez or Donna?
Yeah, I'm taking Donna, I think.
All right. That's another one against the foreign boy.
Don't put it like that.
That's what Red said.
Yeah.
Fucking. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
But no. Against? Yeah. That's funny. Oh, shit. Next up, we've got Fez, and last up, or Casey Kelso. Luke
Fez.
Wilson.
Yeah, definitely Fez. I think Casey, though, was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
In the parts he was in, but Casey was a son of a bitch. You didn't really like Casey at all. Fez was definitely more likable, but Luke Wilson playing him was pretty hilarious as well.
He just kept emerging like back throughout the show, like in multiple. So did Fenton. Like they would have one job, and then you'd see him again, and maybe doing something completely different. Then again.
Yeah.
And like
both, he was hilarious though too in his own ways, and it like made so much sense that he would be Kelso's older brother. You know, it was like, oh yeah, this guy, for sure.
He was like less of a goof, but he was just as unreliable, just as like, you know what I mean, like.
And you're like, he also probably made Michael's life hell when he was like a little kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, though Fez, I would have to go with for sure.
Over Casey.
Yep.
That is 7-3 against Fez.
Damn. Poor Fez.
Final score.
Fez.
But yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I can't say I would disagree with you on. I don't know if I disagree with you on any of those or not, but yeah, I would say the same. Over Casey also though. So, anyways, I think it's up to mine now.
Yep. So, I know you've asked me about this before, but it hasn't been asked to you. So your main topic tonight that everything is going to go up against is Bob Pinciotti.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I don't know. Well, it depends what you got on this list.
We shall see how Bob fares.
Because, yeah, there's some people that would not do well against Bob. Or no, they would. Bob would not do well against.
First up, is Bob Pinciotti or his daughter, Donna Pinciotti?
Oh, man. Yeah, sometimes, man, Bob's a hoot, and, like, him and Midge were being, like, you know, just absurd, like, in some of those first few seasons, like, just the stuff that they would do. Oh, we're going to date other people, we're going to stay in the same house. It's just, like, even Donna was like, how stupid is that?
The swingers.
Yeah, they're like, what are you
too.
doing? But I thought Bob and Midge were always hilarious as well. A lot of things in consideration, I would take Don over Bob, though.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So Donna for the win?
Yeah, I would give that one to Donna. Some of the stuff, like we were talking about earlier, like is, you know, there's just parts where you, like, don't see eye to eye, like, certainly, or, like, you really do think it's an overreaction. Like, another thing I thought, though, about the Donna thing was it was just like a simple line, and like I can kind of understand you kind of being like, oh, that's kind of like a dirty look thing. But whenever Eric, and I asked a few people about this too, and everybody said it was like that's a silly thing to get overreact about, was whenever Eric was like, they were already boyfriend and girlfriend, right? But this was only like season 2 or 3, and so she's like, oh, she mentioned something about tomorrow night, and he's just like, oh, I told Fez and Hyde I'd hang out with them, and she's like, she didn't say it, but like, that was one of the screen was giving you like cues of like what she said, but what she really meant was like the subtitle,
Yeah.
and like, oh, blah blah blah, like, oh, you won't see me naked ever again, or something like that, or just blah blah blah, stuff like that. I mean, not that she even meant that anyway, but just that kind of thing. But then, like, the cutscene, just, like, her talking to Jackie, and she's like, and then he says, you could come if you want, like, oh, we're hanging out. But just, like, you guys all hang out together all the time. Like, how is that? It's like, I get maybe even kind of a weird look, like, if you say it in a certain way, especially to your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, how much are you going to overreact to a fucking line? Like, really? You know what I mean? And, like, that's not even that bad, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's definitely something that girls always point out. They're like, no, I want you to want me to come. Don't say you can come if you want to. Say that you want me there. That's a girl thing.
But that's so needy.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But so I'm not in the wrong for thinking for this then. I'm not in the wrong for thinking.
It's just... It is the differences in the male versus the female dynamic.
Most of the
they
girls
want more reassurance from you.
That I've asked literally about that specific scenario said that was an overreaction.
Yeah.
To that. And like, and I'm like, and like obviously it's a show, but it's like done up for drama, But I'm like, even as like motivation, I was like, how like, are you really gonna be mad for like days or a day about like just one fucking line? Just talk about it, just be like, oh, whatever the fuck. Or like if you have a side eye look, like that's fine, but it's like this shouldn't be an ongoing thing because he said one slip up of a line that he didn't. He probably didn't mean that way.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
That's
ruin.
That's what I mean. And I'm like, that's also something silly. It's like I don't know.
It is.
But anyway, I'm there's times when like I said, I didn't back Donna, but like by and large she, there's a lot of things she was savvy to, and like she wasn't gonna.
Yeah, Donna was strong. And
she was
cool in a lot of ways too.
And they all grew. I mean, some of those things that she overreacted to was whenever the characters were younger, too. It was whenever they were at the start of the relationship. Neither one of them were very good at it, Eric or Donna, and they would both do dumb things that both of the other one would fucking fuck up. You know what I mean? So, but, it's all part of the journey, man. We all do it.
So you would take Donna.
Yep, over Bob.
So 1-0 over Bob. Next up, we got Bob or Leo.
Oh man, see, this is what I mean. I'm probably gonna take Leo. Like Tommy Chong, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Like he's a legendary, just actor, but obviously it's not. Obviously, a lot of it is the actor and like their portrayal of the character, but sometimes it's not. It is putting on a performance, and they embody the character in their own way, but they are separate too. But even taking into account the character of Leo, like, I mean, I thought it fit right in, and like all of the characters in there would smoke, and they would always do the circle and stuff, but it was funny having a character that's like 24/7, 365, like that was him, and like who better to pick for that than Tommy Chong?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he killed it. And it was just funny, like the way they made him. Like every time they had him say something, like and characters reacted to it, he would think it was the opposite thing, or whatever. Like he would misinterpret every single thing that was said.
He was a bit of a fool, but in the best ways.
Oh.
Yeah, I was a fan of Leo.
Oh yeah, no, he's great.
I always liked him. So you take Leo over Bob.
Yep.
So Bob's down by 2. Next up, we got Bob or Casey Kelso.
Oh, so you got Casey in yours too. Probably Bob.
Yeah.
Because Bob did crack me up too, and he cracked me up much more than I could really say, like, because Casey was funny, but obviously he had a more of a short-lived stint. But he did crack me up when he was there. But you could definitely, I think he was positioned in as most hated whenever he was like the bad influence on Donna. He was in season 4. That's when like he was at his, and he reappeared in like season 6, season 7, like a few other times, But like whenever they first kind of had him be like dating Donna, but he was careless, and then Donna showed up to the hub whenever Eric and Kitty were there, like because Eric had like a doctor's appointment or something, and Donna was like drunk, and she's like 17 in the middle of like a school day, whatever, 16, 17, probably 17. And so they're like, what the hell? Like, this is kind of corrupting her and everything. And so it's like, oh man, like you really didn't have much reason to like Casey in season 4 at all. And then whenever you kind of got to see him again, it was just kind of like, oh man, like the character was funny enough. Like, oh, let's bring him back and stuff. And obviously Luke Wilson was available. So that's not a diss to him. I just mean he just was, doing it. I like Luke Wilson, At times I like him more. I like him more than fucking Owen Wilson, definitely at times, to be honest.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if overall or not, but some of Luke Wilson's stuff, like I like Owen Wilson in certain roles. Other movies, I've been like, this fucking movie sucked. Like Wedding Crashers
I'm like
was
a
great.
huge fan of either of them necessarily.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to
You
go with
give
Bob.
that one to Bob.
Give that one to old Bob.
So he's on the board.
The Pinsy. That's what he called himself. Everybody wants a piece of the Pinsy.
1 to 2. He's down. Next up, we got Bob or Lori.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. I can see that one being a little tough.
Because, like, I acknowledge all the points we made already about, like, the character being a separate actress, like, her like, last little stint in the show. I might put Lori slightly above Bob, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can see the argument for that, for sure.
I don't know, man. I think she killed it. Like, Lisa Robin Kelly, especially when she was in her role those first 3 seasons and then came back for the 5th. I almost wonder if, like, they had to have her even show a falling out of the marriage. You know what I mean? They could have just been like, because they eventually were like, oh, she's in Canada. What if, like, after she married Fez and Lisa Robin Kelly between season 5 and 6 was written out, like, you could have just been like, she didn't want to be married to Fez, so she just fucking took off. Like, they should have just almost done that. Like, be like, because the character had already been missing for a while before then, and nobody knew where really she was. Although, whenever you last see her in season 3, she was like going to cosmetology school, so you could have written her off that way. But then at one point, they're like, oh, we haven't heard from her, and like she took off to Canada or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that would have been a reasonable exit too. I mean, this is a long time ago. There's nothing we could do about it now. But I just think of ways that I'm like, they could have saved.
You definitely could.
They could have capsulized the character to just Lisa Robin Kelly if they had done something like that.
There was ways around it, damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm going to give the nudge to Lori, at least by a little bit there.
All right.
I don't know if I would take her over anybody like the group, but I mean, probably not.
So next up, we got, I don't like his chances, we got Bob or Hyde.
Yeah, I'm going to probably have to go with Stephen Hyde, man. But yeah, he was kind of the guy that, I mean, like some of the other characters like look to be, kind of cool. Like just like you could tell a lot of the vibe of the room was set by Hyde. You know what I mean? Like he was the one that like I'm sure like all of them because I'm sure his mom didn't care like in the story and stuff like that. Like she just kind of his dad split or he was younger who he thought was his dad, and then. His mom would kind of just have different boyfriends and be in and out of the house and stuff. So that's the way he grew up. Like he had a broken home, That's what we were talking about earlier. So it was kind of like he was exposed to that sort of stuff, like that more, the drugs and the alcohol and the those sort of things at an earlier age. I'm sure than all the other characters were. At least to that degree, to where you knew that there was like dysfunction in families and society and your own home, and the very foundations of our society, like school and like everybody that's supposed to take care of you. He was let down at a young age by that, so it's kind of like this is kind of like what you said about being a burnout, and he just gave himself to that, and like I'm sure like they all ended up picking it up and like starting to smoke because they were around him, and he's just like, oh, try this, whatever, and then they all did it, like they all had times in the circle and stuff, but you could tell that a lot of it was, I mean, like it was Eric's like basement, but like you could tell kind of why everybody was kind of that level was. I feel like because, Hyde's presence in the room kind of made it be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To a degree. Granted, everybody had their... That's why, like, Kelso and Hyde were the perfect, like, contrast, but yet they were good friends, and they also had, like, kind of their falling out and, like, rekindling of their relationship with the Jackie situation. And, so it's kind of like they were so different, but they were, like, also such good friends, and, that was a fascinating story to tell, too. But... And obviously, like towards the beginning, like Eric and him were really close. Whenever he like had to move in there, and then that was a cool point in the story though, because like Lori was still there, Midge was still there with Bob and everything, and like Hyde moved in, and like that led into like season 2, and season 2 was so much fun.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, but yeah, definitely Hyde.
So Hyde for the win. Next up, we got Bob or Kelso.
Probably gonna have to give that one to Michael Kelso. He might be my second favorite character in the show.
Yeah.
All things taken into consideration, dude. The episode where like, after he gets Brooke pregnant and everything in season 6, like this is what I mean. There's a handful of episodes, if not like definitely more than that I'm like, this just knocked it out of the park in season 6. That's why I'm like, I think season 6 might be like the most underrated season of the show.
Yeah.
And because like after him and Donna took off to California, Kelso and him, and like their relationship was basically over. And then Hyde and Jackie got together, and like Eric and Donna part 2, took place and stuff. Like it almost felt like in the half of the show, there was a change, as there were throughout the whole show, but like definitely between season 4 and 5. And Eric and Donna obviously got back together and stuff. Midge was gone after season 3, at least for a while, and so was Lori. She wasn't in season 4 either.
Yeah.
But yeah. What was the point I was trying to make about that?
I don't know.
Who are we on? Kelso. Okay. Yeah, no, so just like looking back at it, I'm like, just so many of the things that happened in like all those build-ups, and like his character grew and he became more mature too, but like he still, what's funny is still in like just critical moments, or he still just was not good at first impressions and like little things that would happen. So like whenever after like Jackie and Hyde were together, and this is season 6, and he knocks Brooke up and everything, Shannon Elizabeth, who plays her, and they go on an adult date, and Hyde's like, at first Hyde's like, no, there's no way I'm going out with you on a date with your girlfriend, or your ex-girlfriend, who's now my girlfriend, and the girl that doesn't want to be your girlfriend, but feels like she has to be your girlfriend because she's bearing your child, or whatever. Like however he put that whole thing, and then they end up going because Jackie's like, oh no, we should. So like everybody else is pretty much in because it was Kelso's idea, and so then they end up going and Kelso ends up just talking about things that they should never have brought up at the table. Like there's everything he shouldn't have said, he said at that table. Because like Mila Kunis, like Jackie's just like, just going through the whole thing, like walking, like this is her first time meeting Brooke, I think officially at least. Like they went to school together, but I think even Donna said Brooke was, because the time whenever she came into the hub with her, Donna was hanging out with her, but Brooke was like a year or two older than they all were. The main, pretty much all of them. Jackie was a year younger than them. So like whenever Donna's with it, they're like, oh, how do you know her? And she was like, oh, the valedictorian and everything, and she's been the librarian like since then or whatever, shortly after. And Kelso's like, saying how he had slept with her and stuff, and but at the dinner it was just he just got into stuff, just talking about stuff he shouldn't have, and I skipped over my point, but Jackie was like, oh well, how do you guys know each other? And Jackie was like, oh, me and Michael used to date, and I was her first boyfriend, and then Hyde's like, but then I stole her from, and then Brooke's like, what? And then Kelso's like, you never could have stolen her from me if I didn't cheat on her first. It's like, this is all stuff. It's like none of it, like, she knew, and like all of it did not have to come out at a dinner that like half the table probably didn't even want to be at in the first place. And, and then he's talking about like making out with like twins at a party and all this other stuff. And it's just like, I just sit there. He's like, he brought up the twins. Awesome. He just keeps going on and on. And it's just like, he just digs himself a way bigger hole. Oh yeah. No, the one that always killed me. He's just like, Brooke, he's just like, all these stories about me, this is what you need to know. They're all true. He's like, but I've changed now. He's like, you need to know that. He's like, I've been out with a lot of chicks. A lot.
No, I do remember that.
Lot. And Jackie's like, that's not helping. And I don't know, that episode was one of the, that was one of the funniest, I think, maybe of the show, but like definitely of the season. And I don't know, man, like just some of the funniest moments, like outside of even just Red, I think Kelso has definitely a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a memorable character.
But yeah, his, like you said, like Mila and Ashton Kutcher's careers were like launched in large part off of their characters.
Yeah.
So they definitely played them well.
All right. So can Bob climb in another victory here before it's all said and done? We shall see. Next up, we got Bob or we got Mitch?
Mitch?
Yeah.
Not Midge?
Mitch.
Okay. Probably Bob.
Yeah.
We'll throw Bob a bone on that one. But I would give that to Bob anyway. Because, like, Seth Green, he did kill it in his role and everything. And, like, that was hilarious. He was part of a lot of stuff. I just realized, too, I'm like, damn, I recited that whole scene pretty much. But no, that episode killed me this last time, and I was in the state of mind to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just like the Bye Bye Basement episode with Leo and Theo, and he's just like, whenever Theo's going on, and that was the dude from Home Improvement. I always forget his name.
Oh.
But that was apparently Leo's cousin in the show and stuff. After we've already gotten to know Leo, and
yeah,
Theo is just like stoned, and he's just like, see, instead of giving you something you thought you wanted, I gave you something that you needed. And Kitty, like, looks up at Red. She's like, I think my contractor's on dope. Oh, man. But, like, that episode killed me, too, because Leo's like, I know. He's like, now you come down here, and you're like, where are you? It's because they moved everything 2 inches to the left. But oh man, But that was like a season 4. That was like a highlight. I feel like a season 4 also, like episodes wise. That one was funny. But
Season 4, man, low point.
well, like
Everybody's
Jackie and Kelso were back together, and like that was cool and funny a lot too. But like it definitely like dampered. There was an overhead damper on the show because of like what the Eric and Donna relationship did, to some of the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had to tell that story.
So Bob with the win over Mitch.
Yep.
So Bob's got 2 Vicks and
2
Vicks and 5 losses.
Really?
Yep.
He's only got 2 victories? I thought I took him at least 3 times now.
You took him over Casey and over Mitch.
Wow. Damn, he's getting his ass whooped. Poor Bob, man.
Bob, he'll be alright.
Yeah, well.
Next up, we got Bob or Jackie.
Probably Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciated how her character grew. Like, kind of like Kelso, though, too. Like, there was still... Obviously, there's still, in large part, like, remnants of their personality still at the beginning and everything. And, like, the spoiled brat part of Jackie, the dumbass in Kelso, But you see them mature as characters also along the ride,
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, like, whenever Jackie's, like, working for... Christina St. George in season 8 and everything, and she's getting her like her stuff, and and Jackie ends up walking out like after she gets fired, and she's like, well, I'm not gonna like work for somebody like that type of thing. But that lady was fucking. I mean, that was like Mary Tyler Moore in real life anyway, or that was who played her. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But that was like I feel like definitely that was kind of a higher point for Jackie, was because I feel like you could really see how she grew a lot more in ways in season 8, but yeah, it's easily the weakest season.
Yeah. It was kind of cool though, because all the characters did grow and develop and become like better people. In a lot of ways. Yeah, they got to know themselves and how to handle themselves in a more respectable manner, I guess I should say. Like,
yeah.
And it was just kind of cool to see, because it was like they
grew up on the show.
They grew up, yeah.
Yeah, they all did. Like, whenever they started, most of them were only like 17-ish. Like, Masterson was a little older. Jackie was like pretty young, and yeah, like a lot of the kids who were similar age. I love just even in like that 90s show and the in that 70s show, like Kitty and Red, like you're just staples of like just being there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like in a lot of ways, they were the glue like of the show too.
Yeah.
And they kept everything kind of feeling like it was moving. That's why I really feel like without Randy, you still could have been fine with the characters you had.
Yeah.
In season 8. Plus, he wasn't even in the whole season. Like, he only really needed him for like 18 or 17 episodes or whatever. And
then he was just he kind of fell to the background near the end of the season.
Yeah. Which good. He only had like one line in the season finale, and that's all he needed. And he wasn't there whenever they had the room of toast. He didn't meet Eric. Good. None of that. Dude, the season finale was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's always sad to wrap it, though, after you watch something for a while.
It is. But that was a well done finale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say, I'm like, the finale I think is top 10 of the show.
Yeah. Well, next up we got Bob or we got Fez.
Probably
Had to
Fez.
get the whole group in there.
Have to. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Fez on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, Bob, he's a likable character. He's a respectable character. But
oh, yeah. Yeah, he was great. I mean, they all... And that's the thing I'll say at the forefront, like how we were saying everybody was casted great. Like, everybody was great at their character, pretty much. Like, especially as far as, like, the main cast when the show started and, like, some of the side characters were all casted, like, perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did like, and Fez definitely grew too as time went on. So it was interesting to see.
Yeah, Fez.
He was added in the
He
group.
was something.
Oh yeah.
He was kind of like the odd link in a lot of ways too. It felt like.
It felt like
like compared to the rest of the group, like he just kind of like he wasn't the one in the relationship or like doing that with anybody, and he kind of was just like, and he just didn't understand a lot of the stuff that everybody else easily picked up on, you know, because it was just the cultural difference of being Fez. He was likable though.
He was.
All right, and last but not least, for sure, we hit on her earlier, talked about her a little bit. Bob or Kitty?
Probably Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kitty's one of the top TV show moms.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Deborah Jo Rupp, man, she looks like she hasn't aged like in the past 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a great character.
Yeah, I definitely.
Her like real standout episode to me all the time too is that Career Day episode where like Eric goes and sees what she does every day as a nurse, and like the kind of like weight she carries on her shoulders and stuff, and it's like, how do you deal with this? And she just cranks up the radio, like starts singing and stuff, and he just like goes along with it. It's like
she's kind of showing you that's how, like, I just have to every day, you know.
It was just kind of like that. Felt like that was like when you sort of understood Kitty a little more in that episode, like that she always keeps that positive demeanor because she like she does carry a lot of weight, you know.
Oh yeah, well, like in the first season, it was kind of positioned, and that's what I love. Like, there's multiple things that I wish they had kept more of throughout the whole show. Not that I mean, I'll always love the whole show, but like some of the '70s, like the cut scenes that they would show, like the little things that they would add, like I like some of that stuff. I did like the intro more in all the other seasons, that, you know, because season 1 it was slightly different. It was the actual Cheap Trick song, but then I liked the sound of it better whenever they redid it and everything. The title cards were cool, and like the first season had a little bit more real world like weight to it. Like Red, you know, the relationship issues, like to some, they always kind of were positioned like they, you know, meant something obviously, but like with him losing his job, like it was comedy, but it felt like, you know, even Hyde's mom like running off, like that kind of stuff. Like there was like real gravity to like some of the things that happened in season 1. Kind of setting the stage for it to be almost like, it was always going to be a comedy, but it's setting the stage for it to be a little, like, have a serious tone at the same time. Like a serious underlying tone. Like we're dealing with real shit, you know, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Which I think you still had that, but it just kind of eased a little more in ways. But I really loved how they started off. That's why I'm like, man, season 1 was still, like, fantastic. So I'm like, I've interchanged what I thought was my favorite between the first 3 many times. But, like, yeah, it's phenomenal. So, they gave us a Star Wars themed episode in season 1 also. Whenever they went to go see the movie, man.
They had some, like, cool themed episodes. Like, the musical episode was kind of cool, too. Like, Fez's Dream and stuff.
It was funny. For a while, I was like, I didn't appreciate that episode as much, and then I look back and I'm like, it's actually really funny. There was some really ridiculous shit.
The rollerblading episode was hilarious too, with like Fez and Jackie and Kelso like booing him and shit. Kelso, you were booing us from the crowd. He's like, no, I wasn't. That was, I stubbed my toe.
Yeah, he's like, that was some rude guy. Yeah. He's like, and then I popped him one, and I was going, ooh.
Because I hurt my hand.
But when I popped the rude guy. So, you're welcome. Yeah, dude. Some of his antics are fucking hilarious.
He's like booing the shit out of
Oh
him
yeah.
from the crowd. Like, clearly the only one in like the 25 people in the crowd that was booing.
Damn.
Great show though.
It is
Grew up on that
fantastic.
show.
But yeah.
Bob and Fez, they had tough goes. It was nothing against either of them.
No,
though.
they were
It's
two,
just-
honestly, they were two really good characters to pick, though, because probably, like, with you and for me, like, there were some characters even closer to the top that I would have been really tough to rank as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Bob and Fez, like, I can rank, but, you know, it's kind of, it's an interesting topic, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Man, he knocks it out of the park. He knocks it out there.
Good old Red.
Damn, well, we got some mileage out of that one, too. So, I think it's time for a good old-fashioned break, and we will talk about the movies when we come back. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the shits, introduce some topics, and stay with us. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now back from our break. It is that time, you know, the time for the good, the bad, and the shits.
Yeah.
We are in our 192nd episode tonight. And,
Yeah, we are.
oh shit, well, I mean, obviously we got to talk about the movies before the good, the bad, and the shits, but good, the bad, and the shits will wrap us up.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
either or, but
Yeah, let's just throw the
we
movies
can
out
roll
there.
into the movies. Yeah.
So we just had Air and Apocalypto.
Yeah.
The movies we swapped, so we'll be giving each other new ones here in a second, but also maybe have a little discussion over the films we watched.
That is true. Would you like to go, or would you want me to go here?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I can start.
Of
We
course, my notes are on my other.
had a.
I have some of it up here though.
Yeah. We had sports movies in the last segment, so you ended up giving me Air,
Mm-hmm.
kind of off the top of your head there, and it was really good. Like it was a lot of recognizable faces. Obviously, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck,
Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman was in
Mhm.
there. Yeah.
You felt kind of bad for his character where he was describing like how he only sees his kid on like Sundays and they look forward to like the Nikes that he gives them every week,
Yeah.
and that he needed this to work out before like Phil Knight slashed their entire shoe division. You know.
I mean, that's the thing too, though. Is Phil like? He was goofy and cutthroat in his own ways, but he was also like not a bad guy to be the CEO.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good dude. But it was hilarious in that meeting with Mike too, and he's like, Sonny comes up with the idea for him to come in late. He's like, you should come in like 7 to 10 minutes into the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, that's ridiculous. I'm the CEO. I need to be here. He's like, no, that looks bad. Like, if you're just here chilling. He's like, you need to look like you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on, and you carved out time to make it to this meeting, you know? And he's like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. And then he, like, shows up, and he just, like, kills the energy in the room because they're doing, like, decent with him. They show Mike the shoe, and he's like, oh, it's got the Bulls colors and stuff. Because he didn't think they could have the red on there because the NBA, policies and stuff.
It had to be like 51% white. The NBA required on the shoe.
But they were like, "Oh, we'll pay the fine."
Yeah, it's a
or whatever.
$5,000 fine.
And he comes walking in, and they're like, "Oh, hey, I was just explaining to Mike," and he's like, "Well, hold on here. I was just gonna let everybody know I'm the CEO of this company." And he just like shut the energy down in the room. It's just like
the way he said it almost sounded rehearsed.
Yeah. He's like, and I was very busy, but I made sure.
Yeah.
I told my secretary to let me know when this meeting's happening because I was not gonna miss this. It's like, okay.
It was funny. He was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." Which in theory, like, it kind of is, because then you're like, oh, I've got to be here. You know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah.
is important. And, like, if you're just chilling, like, it looks like, you know. So I get, like, that kind of thought, too. But, yeah, like you were saying, it was going well, so it almost made the whole thing awkward. Not like, you know, it's not like they needed that to help it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting.
It was kind of hilarious. Like, his character was kind of funny. They all had their funny moments, but, like...
Whenever Damon and Affleck were like yelling at each other, and Affleck was in the toilet or in the like whenever they're yelling at each other in the bathroom, that was fucking hilarious. Because he might have been like taking a dump, and Damon was like, or no, that was Bateman and Damon.
Yeah,
they were like
Bateman,
yelling at each other in the bathroom and shit.
Bateman was also like pretty comedic, but he also had like some deeper parts to his, like when he was telling Sonny about like, oh, it's not about what you say, it's about the way you say it and the meaning behind what you say. You like use Born in the USA as an example. He's like, that's my Friday afternoon song. I ride around the convertible blaring that song, belting it out, feeling happy and patriotic. He's like, then I really listen to the lyrics of that song. It's like, it's about a guy forced to go to Vietnam, comes back messed up, can't find a job anywhere. He's like, it's a totally different meaning. As to what I've been using it as. That was like one of the songs in that movie too. That was like another good part of that movie is the soundtrack. Like when it opened with Money for Nothing by the Dire Straits, and it was like just the montage of...
Oh, I kind of thought, I was like, man, I think you're going to love this, like, the 80s montage they did going through everything. They even had the clip of Hulk and Iron Cheek. And, like, I'm like...
It's a lot of, like, the pop culture.
Amazing.
The things, just the, like, fast food commercials and just the things that were taking off and happening during that time.
They did a really good job at time stamping it.
Yeah. And to that song, I was just like, it really set the mood to what you were going into. You know? It was really cool.
They had, what was it, by Sister Christian? Who was it? Sister...
Yeah, Night Ranger, I think.
Yeah, that was in it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, like, 80s bangers in it.
Yeah, there was, Chris Tucker. He was pretty funny in it as well. Like, he's somebody that I hadn't really seen in a lot of things in a while, so it was kind of cool to see him pop up in there. And he's still kind of like... Sonny was the guy, really, that made everything happen. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened.
And everybody was trying to talk him down.
It was like his persistence and trying to force it, basically. But, like, I think... initially driving out to their house, like, kind of was like, what the fuck, when he showed up. But, like, I just think when she saw how he was as a businessman, as a person, like, just how honest and open and just telling her how it was, like, Michael's mom started to, like, respect and understand Sonny, you know? She, like, sort of was rooting for him in a way. Like, she was probably part of the reason, too, that he took the meeting and stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure, because, like, I don't know if, like, the dad wanted to be there either, and, but she's, like, I think she had respect for him in, like, that first one and giving it to her straight, like you were saying, and she's like, I'm gonna be straight up with you, like, whenever they got to the building, she's like, he doesn't want to be here, Michael. But she's like, he said he's willing to listen.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I'm going to take advantage of that pretty much because he, you know, he knew he had to sell him. He had to make it happen. But yeah, Michael didn't want to go with them. He wanted Adidas initially.
Because it was the hot thing at the time.
And Nike wasn't thought of as like a basketball shoe. Like it wasn't. No. They needed somebody to step into it, you know, to take it to the next level. And like, you know, it's amazing too because they showed some Prefontaine clips in there too, whenever they're showing like, oh, the times and stuff, and like then the, you know, because he was that was when Nike was kind of first around, whenever he was still running, in like the I guess mid to or early to mid 70s. But yeah, no man, I loved Air. I thought it was great.
Yeah, like I thought a couple of the Easter eggs in there too of like just Nike knowledge was interesting. Like that literally the "Just Do It" slogan came from a death row inmate that was about to get the firing squad, and they're like, "Any last words?" And he said, "Just do it." And that Gary Gilmore, I think was his name, and that was like where they heard it, and they're like, yeah, "It's not a bad slogan." It came from that. Is insane.
They were trying to say like the owner of or like the creator of like Adidas was like German and he was like a Nazi or something too. They're like, oh no, they're like his name was Adolf.
He
they're
was
like,
in
you don't
the
know.
Nazi boy camp.
Yeah. So they're like, try sweeping that under the rug.
And that Phil Knight was saying that he bought the logo, the swoosh, from like this lady, like art designer. He bought it from her in like 1970 for like $35, and he didn't even really like it. He was just like, yeah, maybe it'll grow on me. It's just like it was a cheap enough logo. Like, dude, that lady had to be kicking herself. Like, you fucking kidding me?
Oh yeah.
But it was just kind of cool to like hear those weird little unknown Easter eggs about the company, and Phil Knight like going barefoot in his office all the time, which is weird as a CEO and weird when you are the CEO of a shoe company to be barefoot up there, you know.
I guess he's just doing whatever he wants to do. But yeah, Matt Damon, like Sonny, was definitely
was great
in pursuit of like making shit happen. For sure. And like the beginning of the movie is just him gambling and like losing money at the casino and stuff. But
he won on the sports and then he lost it on the roulette table.
Dude, Michael's mom though, man, she was looking out for him because she's like, no, like, and I know it's never been done, but they're like, you know that this, she's like, I'm not asking for all of Nike, but like all the products that his name is attached to, he gets proceeds from. And like that, dude, that just instantly, you know, going into the league and like having that attached to you is gonna like that is so much faith in that you're gonna be the guy that they strap the rocket to be, you know, positioned in the face of as the face of the league if you're as incredible as they thought he was going to.
Yeah.
And remember, like whoever didn't get him, they're like, oh, who did they pivot to? And they're like, oh, Mel Turpin, and it's just like, who exactly? Because that's what Adidas. Oh yeah, that's what Adidas is gonna do. They're like, yeah, they pivoted to him.
Well, remember they were like on their board, and it's not even that none of these guys turned into nothing. It's John Stockton.
Well, Charles Barkley
was
on
something.
the list too.
Charles Barkley and John Stockton he's decently remembered, but like nobody was Michael Jordan. But it's kind of funny that they were like on their initial board because they're like, oh, we can try to get like 4 guys out of college to let us endorse them and wear Nike. And they were like, the names that they were listing off, like, oh, how about this guy and stuff. And it was like hardly anybody that you would remember, you know. And that's not like a diss or anything. It's just the way it is and the way sports always is. Anyways, it's always a gamble. Like
the way they looked at it is the top 3 prospects were already signed. They're like, well, 1 and 2's off the board, and then they got to Jordan. They didn't say he was off the board, but they're like, he's too expensive for us. So then they're like, we need to be looking at 4 through 12 or 4 through 20 or whatever, like the potential draft picks. And they're like, we need to try to attach something to them. And then Sonny was the one where like, he's like, I kind of like this guy, and like, you know, but he had a feeling where he was just like, I don't think we should, because they wanted to spread the wealth around like 3 or 4 players. And Sonny's like, I feel like we should bet the fucking farm on this. Yeah. Just give all of it to Michael. You know, and so, I mean, that was definitely one hell of a gamble.
Yeah, because if it didn't work out, you spent all of it on that one guy, and your department was probably going to tank.
That's so. What's funny is that's so poetic because of, you're betting that on Michael Jordan, who's a notorious gambler.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it makes just sense that.
And he gained the respect and like a lot of those guys within that.
And now, I mean, I'm sure he's never been more proud to be like part of Nike and like all these, stuff as he's been. Like he's been the brand or part of the brand for a fucking long time now. Like 40 years.
It was funny too that initially they told Phil Knight to like name. They're like, oh, we got a name for like the Jordan brand, Air Jordan. And it was like the dude, they gave it to the dude in the design department. Or like he came up with it or whatever. And he's like, maybe it'll grow on me. Like it was like this, the logo and shit for the company. It's like, this guy was never satisfied with any of the stuff in his own company. He was just like, eh.
Yeah, he's like, that'll work. We can roll with that. But he didn't actually want to make like those decisions. This is funny. Like he'd make like the financial stuff and yeah. But yeah, Phil, he's been running that shit for a long time. But
yeah, that like line I wrote down too when Phil told Sonny at the end, because Sonny's like, oh, nobody would have ever hired me at any other like shoe or sporting company.
Yeah.
He's like, so thank you for like taking the risk on me. And Phil was like, man, he's like, you're a brilliant guy and you have a lot of courage. He's like, and that's why you're here. And it is true, because like nobody else in that position probably would have got that done.
No.
For Nike. And him being there in that position at that time, like, made it happen.
They told him, don't even to call or don't go near, don't see his family or anything. And, like, he was just pressing. But, I mean, it paid off.
Yeah.
Like I said, in dividends.
That time it did.
Yeah.
He was big risk. He had the right approach. He was the right guy for it.
But yeah, it was cool to see it play out and like him bond with Michael's mom, and like you could tell like once he had that first meeting over there and like he just showed up at her house, like he kind of started to win her over there. Like I'm sure she wasn't certain she was going to, but he's like if I call what happens in these meetings direct, like remember he called exactly what was going to happen. He's like he's going to say this,
meetings.
And exactly pretty much that happened. It was also bold to like break it down to a speech whenever they had the whole, video and the projector and all that stuff going ready for Michael to watch, but I think he realized in that moment, he's just like, he's probably sat in front of so many of these telling him, oh, you're this and that. And so he's just like, you know what, I'm just going to give it to him straight. And like, I definitely think that, even on Michael's part and the family, like made him respect him a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. It was quite good. Would recommend. It's on Prime.
Yeah,
to watch.
And I thought, I was like, oh, do I need to go to Hulu for Apocalypto? And then I saw it was on Prime, Hulu, maybe Peacock or something too. It's on like a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, it's on quite a bit right now.
But I ended up watching it on Hulu, and so I mean the setting of that one was set in 19. That's just your that's your callback, just instinct to look back at the 1900s.
Yeah.
Set in the 1500s, 1511.
Yeah, early 1500s.
And so really, what they define as like the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages is like 500 AD through 1500 AD, where it's just like, not a lot of breakthrough like technology or advancements have happened. Really not. Like, I mean, they had like castles and knights and, some sort of,
savage shit.
It was like civilization, but it wasn't like anything really that established. Like places were being discovered that whole period and everything. It was kind of fascinating because I started thinking about that, and I mean, even into the 1600s, things were still pretty primitive. But once it was like once the Jamestown settlement happened and like the whole, the establishment, of course, of like the 13 colonies and the country and everything, like we know once it got past that dark period, like the 1600s, the 1700s, the 18, like everything got more and more and more and more advanced. Even now, like it's coming way quicker. Like the more we update shit, like the quicker, shit gets better.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of weird that for like a long period of time, not a lot even changed at all. But like, basically so with that ending, let's just talk about the ending first. Actually, we can. That was a big shocker to me.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that was, whenever I knew it was like a Mayan story, I just kind of figured, I didn't know that they would tie stuff like that into it. I was like,
I
oh,
thought that was
shit.
kind of cool.
It was really cool.
I mean, it was cool too because that was sort of like, when you think about the time period, actually, like the early 1500s, that was like nearing the end of the Mayan civilizations,
of their like empire.
So it makes sense that it's just kind of crazy to think that Mayans ran into white European settlers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That they interacted.
Yeah,
wild.
For like a Mel Gibson, and that was directed by him, like he definitely has some balls to like do the kind of films that he's done though before, like not just in terms of if they would be unpopular or whatever, but like just digging into some of the areas that he does, like with that, or like even, we talk about like Fat Man was actually kind of comedic and, good and funny and holiday stuff, but it's like, I watched that On the Line movie, or what is it, he's on like the radio on like this movie, and I think on Netflix I watched. That's actually not a bad like horror esque film. He was actually starring in that, but I was trying to get to something. Oh, The Passion of the Christ, like directing that too, and like obviously that was gonna be controversial.
Yeah.
But like he digs his feet in like all these different, and like I think it's really
both
cool.
of those, like Apocalypto, basically they only spoke Yucatan.
Yeah.
Which is like an ancient language, which is crazy in itself that you would have to spend the time to dissect. It was like him and another dude that dissected and wrote the script, and they, I'm sure they had to get help from translators and all these different historian people to like be able to do it. But the same thing with The Passion of the Christ. They spoke like Aramaic and like all these different languages, and it's just, and like all these ancient languages spoken in movies and not like a lick of English. That in itself is like crazy and wild and like a gamble and hard to do. So it's like, I always thought that was a crazy fact that he's one of the only directors I know that has done something like that, has made movies where it's like spoken in almost ancient forgotten languages, basically. Which is crazy, but cool. Really neat, honestly.
It's crazy because like some of their developments, whenever you actually saw like the whole, like their settlement and their village and everything, like it was kind of like, it's crazy that they made all of that shit out of just what they had. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it is.
I've always been
everything that, even on the chase, like the stuff, the weapons that he would make to like fight them off and stuff, he was just making from things he was finding out in the jungle.
I mean, they took the time to make spears and knives and fucking.
They were handy with their surroundings for sure. All the little booby traps and stuff out there too. Like, it's so easy to do that in the jungle.
I didn't realize, and like I said, like, Jaguar Paul, like, after because his dad was killed in the beginning, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
And so, like, once they get captured and then basically enslaved to do work and everything, I was kind of wondering that, because I was like, he's going to have to get back to his bride and his kid and his unborn child too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, I didn't know where it was going to hit its mark, and like I didn't even think remotely about the fact that there was going to be like a lunar, like a full eclipse basically during the executions after they had already done like one or two.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like what I took note of also was
Like,
the fact
fucking
that
shook
it was
everyone.
like they were outsiders and they're like, oh, we captured them, but like the whole fucking village was like celebrating. Whenever they chopped the head off and then rolled him down all the steps,
Yeah.
everybody was like, ah, and like they had
it was so
nets
exciting.
to try to catch
Too.
the body and catch the head.
Yeah.
It was like a celebration.
Oh yeah.
And then they put the heads on pikes and basically like showed them as like trophies. Just stuck them in the ground.
Yeah, I mean that was their sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not much of a sacrifice. You're
To-
killing somebody else's
to
person.
the lords. That's why they did it on their little ritual. You know, their little ritual podiums, the ritual
Yeah.
towers. Yeah, it's like. Then the eclipse happened. They're like, "Oh my God, God's punishing us. He's covering up the sun."
Mm. And then the crowd like goes wild once the sun comes back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, once the executions happened and the eclipse happened, and like a lot of the guys were taken to the, they were all like taken down from there. They're like, "Oh, dispose of them, release them." The head guy said, I don't know a lot of their names obviously because they didn't really speak them, but like I know the one that was chasing him through the forest. There was Sevens's wife, the leader of the village tribesmen, and oh no, that's not him.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to
It is.
kind of remember the cast names because it was all like foreign language and they didn't say the names that consistently. I mean, Jaguar Paul.
It's
never
a
gets
Zero
names
Wolf.
on
Zero Wolf and Middle Eye. Those are like the main,
bad guys.
leader of the Holocane Warriors and Cut Rock's father. So maybe it was Zero Wolf. Remember he like whenever they're like, oh, release him, and then Jaguar Paw's like running and like. I always think of like Eastbound and Down where they're like light the cannons and shit, and like him and Stevie are going like opposite
Yeah.
directions and shit, and like that's what he was doing because that's the best way to do it. If you run in a straight line, you're basically giving them, oh, just aim a little straighter again this next time.
Yeah.
You're not even doing anything. You got to almost like be jagged and all over the
Oh
place.
yeah, you gotta cut slants, duck and dive.
And then the finisher, I was kind of wondering. I was like, what the hell is that going to mean? So like if they're still alive by the end of the runway, he was going to kill you anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like whenever fucking Jaguar Paw like slashed his throat and like the crowd all like saw him from like I guess that was at least a football field or more away. They're like, oh fuck.
They thought he was dead.
And then I
he
guess it
came
was
out,
Zero Wolf or like maybe it was the guy under that, like ran out to get him and shit and then like so really like Jaguar Paw had like quite a bit of time to get a little bit ahead, but he was also wounded as fuck, so like he was gonna be slower. And then like the whole crowd, there was like 9 of them that came after him. But after that, the execution started. I was like, oh shit! Like I feel like the movie got just more intense and intense and intense.
Yeah, it kind of just built into like a wild chase after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, like once he was he tried hiding in the trees and then he ran into that jaguar. And then fucking, whenever he was trying to get away from the jaguar, trying to get away from the village people, the village people. But they were like running after, yeah, that describes him. They were like running after him, but like one of them.
Got firefighter and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
One of them bit the big one whenever the fucking jaguar like ate his face off. And whenever they were all poking it and shit like that, they like started
yeah,
that
they
bad
all
omen.
slowly like
Mm.
ran into their own fate with different things.
Isn't that like because they killed the jaguar though?
Yeah, I mean,
Because they said they're like, oh, that's a bad omen.
that was their ancient beliefs,
Yeah.
at least.
And they killed him because he was ripping the face off the other dude. It's like that other dude was done anyway. But, you know, like, I wouldn't want to live after looking in the mirror after that. But...
Especially in the 1500s, they're not gonna do anything to fix that shit.
No.
You're probably gonna die anyways.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna get infected.
Oh, yeah.
They're just like, you're done. Time's up! But... Yeah, man, they just kind of ate him little by little. Like, that happened to the one guy, and then the guy leaned on the tree. That poison-ass snake freaking injected his venom in him.
Yeah.
Got him. Another guy drowned.
The Hornets.
The
Dude
Hornets.
had a bad reaction to those.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like a series of unfortunate events.
The booby trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was... That was the thing. That movie was like a historical kind of like epic in ways, but it was also like so gory and bloody and brutal.
That culture at the time, I'm sure, was brutal.
Yeah.
Though. Like, all that shit, like, people
Oh,
want to
yeah.
act like everybody. It's like, no. I was like, it's, if anything, the primitive days were more fucking unhinged
for
as far
sure.
as violence all over the place. It's like, this shit is fucking civilized
People are
compared
way
to
more
all that
civilized,
shit.
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that shit, like, just some people would go into a place they've never been and they would just absolutely wreak havoc because it wasn't their own, you know?
Like,
That would
new
happen all the
place.
time.
This is
Yeah.
ours now.
Yeah. Different tribes, different fucking settlers, different, you know, it just, I mean, like everything we talked about, like, in a way, there's got to be trial and error even with humans and, you know, all that, the races and everything else, like, all the religions, the beliefs. And, like, I feel like to get here where everybody can, like, commonly, like, live around each other, like, there was no doubt some ugly fucking periods of time.
Yeah.
All across the world. But,
Yeah. I mean, also just the beliefs. You know, people were a lot more, like, religiously scared and
Yeah.
in other ways scared about their, like, they sacrificed people and killed people. Oh, you're a witch. And, like, just different things like that, too, in that period where it was just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? You're like, oh man, we're not getting rain. We gotta fucking kill a virgin. Like,
Yeah.
just like, what kind of thought process even is that? You know?
I know. It seems like there's an even ground. Because it's like now a lot of people have no fear, and like, I'm not saying I know what's gonna happen next or whatever either, but it's just like people are just compounding fucking sins and just never thinking they're gonna have to fucking pay the price for it. Like,
Yeah.
in today's world either, especially today's world though.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you don't want to go through life just collecting bad karma either upon yourself. Like, no matter what way you look at it spiritually, it's, you don't want to
There's got to be an in between
collect all
where
that
we're at
bad juju.
and like nobody's fearing in that way, so they just kind of do crazy things.
Yeah.
Versus like,
Or
this
just-
is the way to do it.
Or just even, not even if it's crazy things, just people honestly giving less of a fuck about each other in a lot of ways.
Today,
Yeah. As well. It just feels like
yeah,
more like more social media care and less just like real life, not for a camera, nobody has to know, this is just for you kind of care, you know? Like, yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways things are better, but in a lot of ways it's just
we're gonna repeat history if these fucks
people
don't
don't
erase it,
really
and I'm gonna be there with a gentle.
think twice
told
about
you
seeing
so.
all the homeless everywhere and stuff. It's just, oh, because that's everyday life now. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
it's kind of a sad route, man. Like, I drive by it every day to work, too. I'm not even saying I'm not a victim of it myself, but it's like...
I know. It's hard because you can't,
The
it's
whole
like, how do you...
like, drug addict problems.
How do
Like,
you
I
give-
see all of it every day, and it's just like...
I mean, they're all over the place.
Yeah. I'm sure most of everyone can say that, too. That's the crazy thing. But it's just like you said, it is kind of... When you look around, it almost feels like, man, this is a negative trajectory for the world.
It is.
We're advanced compared to apocalypto times.
But honestly, I really don't. I in large part, like, there's a lot of things.
I wouldn't want to be in apocalypto times either. I'm not saying that.
No.
And don't drop me in 1511. That would be fucking
They
terrible.
were not good.
I would hate it.
There's no way I'd want to be dropped anywhere in there.
I would never want to get on a boat around that time in the crazy ass seas on a fucking wooden ass rickety ship. I hate the sea, deep sea.
Eating
anyways.
hardtack.
Get me the fuck out of
You'd be
there.
on there for months.
Yeah.
These old fucking biscuits with like lint and
I'd be
fucking
vomiting
bullshit
all
in
over
them.
the fucking place.
Dude, people didn't like survive those voyages back
No.
then. Like half the crew
Like,
would
well,
die on the.
We lost
on the way-
40% of them on the way over.
That would happen all the time. Oh, just threw them overboard.
I lost my wife and kids on the way here.
No, man, but like, I'm not.
I mean, that's
like,
not funny. That's honestly sad as fuck, but that really is what happened.
I don't know. We got to figure out a lane though, and be.
Hey man, there's
and be
positives
careful.
and negatives to every
Be
era.
careful.
Oh yeah.
No, because man, like, I don't know.
I agree. No matter what.
It's there. Everybody's stepping on
Where's the love, man?
stones where they don't actually know fucking where the holes are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're gonna fucking sink. Like I said, fucking, I don't know. Like everything's meeting a really kind of crazy place as far as like evolution now though goes. Not to take it in, still talking about the apocalypto though. Is the people get it's technology and everything is advanced so fast. It's like hard to even compute on a human level like where we're at and where we're headed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like having faith in that is even harder.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody's been for so long. Oh, do this, progress, do this. It's just like, dude, I feel like some aspects of society, I feel like we're at least a generation or two deep into the rot of society because now I feel like things are unwinding compared to the way they were. In a lot of ways, I really do. I'm not even trying to make that even, we don't have to take it that much deeper, but it's like I feel like the erosion, this is my point, and I hate to even admit this out loud because I want to still believe in this country and believe in the ideals and values and things we stand for, but I feel like the erosion from the inside has started, and it's probably a decade or more deep.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that.
Yeah.
And the only way the founding fathers, everybody else along, like even some of the great leaders before, like most all of them say great nations, great, powers of the world, like they're not destroyed from the outside, they crumble from within. I'm telling you, we gotta be fucking careful. But it's not even just here, it's the whole world, man. Like some people are just, oh, we can do this. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I get that feeling too, and it's like you said, technology is advancing to a point where it's advancing so far faster than we are, and it's going to continue to do so. It's going to lap us in intelligence and intake and memory and the things it can do and handle. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Well, let's hope
it's
it's
scary
fucking
thought in itself.
provides us with a quick fix. Let's hope for best
Yeah.
case scenario.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because that might be the only thing, that more than just band-aids this issue, like this whole fucking, but we'll see what happens. I'm not saying we're definitely in a better world for the most part as long as we're careful than we were, obviously, especially 500 years ago. But man, like even times like that, it's like they, you know, that's the thing. They didn't have a lot, so like what they did have, they appreciated, like their family, their, you know, I mean, them and each other like was all they had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like, it's interesting to watch stuff like that and it be so, you know, primitive, and everything kind of goes back to like
you're just there to provide for your
Yeah.
people.
Oh yeah.
Try to survive another day in the jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hell of a life. Yeah, those
I
kind
thought-
of movies in ancient eras are cool though.
I thought it was awesome though, like how I mean, I figured he would like maybe take a few licks in a Jaguar Paw, obviously I'm referring to, but like I didn't know how that was all gonna play out, but once they said like the bad omens started and then we saw like one kind of crazy death after another, I'm like, oh man, well that's definitely what that means. And like, and that's why I was kind of mind blown right before we got to the ending where they saw the ships like coming on the, you know, kind of sailing in. Because I was like, what the hell are they stopped for? Like they were trying to kill him the whole time, and then they stopped, and I was like, what are they looking at? And then just, you know, we were just sitting here chilling, like watching the rest of it, and I was like, what? It just didn't cross my mind that, you know, going back to even the ending, that we would see somebody else maybe interact with them, or even an image of something else. Like I figured it was going to be their story within their, you know, kind of community, and it was going to be a wrap.
Yeah.
But that was cool because that like left a huge question mark on, oh, you know, we know how these stories go and like how, you know, some of histories went too. So it's like, it's definitely like makes you wonder.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool, like neat little, like I said, it's kind of a simpler story, but it's a neat little like deep dive into a specific time in history.
Mm-hmm. And that was kind of like, that was still not obviously well before modern like science, but it was like at the tail end of the Dark Ages. So they were like getting into, you know, more explored territory, like when people were actually like getting acquainted more. The 1600s were that peak of time. A lot of rough shit happened though, that's for damn
When
sure.
it wasn't just people coming over and strictly like becoming immediately violent and trying to take the land over.
Yeah.
Because up to that point, it was just invaders,
Oh yeah.
and then it was explorers.
Well, and like just some of that, like those were some brutal, like even though that was kind of out of the Dark Ages, where like whenever people started getting a little more civilized slowly, the 15 and 1600s would have still been brutal as fuck. Like, the amount of shit that was going on. I mean,
1700s, 1800s would be too.
yeah, things became a little more like governed, and like there was structure to society, I guess, a little bit more like,
Eventually,
you know, yeah. Oh yeah, not everywhere's like that. I mean, still to this day, like there's some places that you would think you're like, is this fucking like 700 AD? Or what?
Yeah,
That's sad.
horrible,
Yeah, see,
really.
it's hard to talk about this and like that without even touching on, oh wow, like shit was vastly different. But all the props, honestly, for Mel Gibson, like, because regardless, even if it was in another language, Yucatan, you said, I was into it, like, especially once shit really started hitting the fan. I was like, oh my god. So it was, I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I wasn't
Two
sure.
good ones.
I wasn't even sure,
this
like,
time.
you know, off the top of my head, like what it was gonna be exactly, because I don't think I had ever even turned it on before. But you know, movies slip by you too, and I was like, oh shit. But I was looking for films in that like kind of time range anyway.
Yeah, is it 06?
Yeah, well, in that setting, obviously.
Oh,
but yeah.
well then, yeah.
But yeah, it did come out in 06.
Hell yeah. So, Air and Apocalypto, check them out.
Yeah.
And now, what? We give our next ones, huh?
Oh yeah, It's time. It's time for that.
You wanna give me yours or?
Yeah, I'll just throw mine out there. Why not? Well, I don't know, and apparently neither one of us can particularly remember if we've ever watched it before. But it's obviously a subject we've talked heavily about. We've had multiple specials on this podcast about pro wrestling. So my movie is going to be The Wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic fucking film. I'm sure we're gonna chill, enjoy it, and just take it all in because it's a beautiful fucking movie, and not because it's beautiful, but because it's such a fucking well told just piece of art of like, you know, a picture. Like, I really do feel like they did a great job at kind of showing, not to say that like every indie wrestler's life is like this or a guy that used to be on top is struggling like this, but it dealt with real struggle and like, oh, you know, he's got to have a second job and be able to do this, and then he's performing, you know, blading himself at night for fucking maybe a few $100 and like going on the road and stuff, and like not being able to make rent, or being late for rent. You know what I mean? Like it's all like that stuff that I'm sure a lot of people on that level could at some time relate to, especially people that have made it now that went through that in the previous decades. You know, so. I love it, and it shows
story.
It shows some of his. I'm not going to get into all the. I mean, you'll watch it. And I think you said you've seen it like once, right?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
It's definitely worth it then to do it, but it shows his. Not to dig in deep to all that, but it's because we'll watch it. But his struggles with his family and maintaining those relationships after being on the road for a lot of his career. And the assumption is they don't say it because they don't have the rights to like plug that in or whatever. But the whole thing of it is, oh, he was in WWF and that's where he was, you know what I mean? In theory, like you just gotta kind of put that, okay, like that's where he was. And in that world, like it kind of almost looked like, oh, like he was kind of the Hogan of this is where he was for a long time, you know what I mean? And now he's at this level, like later on. They never like reference that or say anything about it, but the whole assumption is he's at this level after being on top in the biggest promotion in the world. You know what I mean? For a decade or however long. So like, it's got to be just such a blow too after being on top of the world and making so much money and then spending so much money and probably, you know, God knows what else. Like being back at that level, not having having the notoriety but not having the financial, you know, system that you used to have, like not having the financial backing. So it's tough, man.
Yeah, it'll be worth checking out again for sure. I'm sure I'll get more out of it this time probably too.
It's got another banger soundtrack.
Yeah. I'll look forward to that one. I think it's time for you.
Oh boy.
To give this one a watch, you know? I mean, it's been a long time. You've talked some smack, you've never given it a shot. We're doing it. Talladega Nights.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm honestly glad it's that over like some other things it could have been. Yeah, no, that's a good one to pick though, honestly. I'll say it on air, and I've already made it clear because you were like, "What?" But I do not believe ever in my life did I sit down purposefully and watch Talladega Nights from beginning to end.
You know, it's been a handful of years for me now since I've seen it. It's, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 2018, 2019.
It's been that long?
That era I watched it, yeah. But maybe 2020, but yeah, it's probably been within that span of years. So
that'll be fun. That's like a those two being the movies hit like, I mean, all the movies we picked, especially since we've been back, have been fucking tremendous. But like those two selections hit closer to home in a lot of ways and being like, oh, okay, like that's what it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like we have watched so many comedies together. We're both big wrestling fans, so it's like those things plug right in.
Yeah.
So that'll be That'll be definitely interesting. Yeah, I mean, I told you a while back, I was like, I'm down to watch it. Like, I haven't had that thought about it in my head probably in at least a few years. Like, for many years, I would just talk shit, but I just would watch it. And, dude, you know what's crazy is that's been out for 19 years, and I've never seen it.
It is wild.
Now, mind you, there have been times, of course, over the years, and we had fucking DirecTV or whatever, people have flipped it on. There's been several parts I've seen, even multiple parts, or just different aspects of the movie, but truly what I said, I've never watched it all the way through. So it'll be interesting to see how it holds up.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of funny to be talking about that. See, and that's honestly interesting because that's like an untapped. There's not many films of Sandler, Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, like a lot of the classic like comedians that have, ran the game the last 15, 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's not been a lot of any of their hits to this point that I haven't seen. I've seen almost all of them. You know what I mean? Like, there's some stuff I can find. I'm sure there's some Jim Carrey stuff I've still never seen. Maybe a few Sandler movies hiding in there that are decent. But for the most part, I feel like I wipe some of these guys' filmographies out.
Yeah. Well, it's the perfect time.
It is.
NASCAR playoffs starting. Talladega Nights on the board.
We are going hard with the movie swap segment, man. It's back. This is already the introduction of the third one since we've been back. And we'll be reviewing that next week. We've got a very special NFL prediction Power Hour podcast returning, this time with guests. And then the follow-up episode, we will be reviewing The Rustler and Talladega Nights, which would be episode 194.
Okay.
So, we'll keep that in check. And next up, you know it, you love it, the good, the bad, and the shits. It's time for at least a couple rounds.
Yeah, I got a couple here.
So,
you want me to go, or you want to go?
Yeah, you could throw yours out there. I have my notes on there, but I'm like, I remember one, and I think I remember both. Yeah, I do. So, or and if nothing else, I could always throw a layup out there.
All right, what do you think of the importance of NFL preseason games? NFL preseason's going right now. I've watched a couple games. I'll be honest, I don't really give much of a damn about the NFL preseason. They don't, like, the starters will come in for a couple drives, but there's just, like, not that level of excitement in the preseason at all. So it's like, there's no urgency. The score doesn't really matter. And to me, sometimes, like, for example, Joe Burrow, surprise, surprise, took, like, a couple massive hits, in the preseason. This is line folded. And it's just like, this feels unnecessary. Like, this dude's a top 5 quarterback in the league. He shouldn't be out here getting smoked in the preseason.
No.
So it's like, I get the point of them, and it also gives you a chance if there's some college prospects that came out and they're not going to be starting in the season or whatever, like a quarterback, gives them a chance to see the field, kind of play a little bit, gives a crowd a chance to see them. But, like, when the starters are in for one possession, and it almost just feels more like scrimmage games to me, to a point. I understand the point of them, but I get tired of NFL preseason real quick.
Yeah.
Because then I'm just like, I just want the season.
Because it feels like it's a tease. Like, it's like, oh, yeah, it's here. But it's like not, because, the season is like the real deal,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I don't understand why they're not getting reps. And to a degree, I think some guys should. Even like Joe, it wouldn't be bad if he threw the ball a number of times in like some sort of scrimmage type game. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm probably still going to go overrated. But I understand why there should be something preseason like that. Or at least, to be honest, if they go to the 2 that they need to go and add an 18th game to the season, just make it even again, which they're going to do. So whether I have something to say about it or not doesn't change anything. But they're going to do it. expect that. Expect another bye week, and expect 2 preseason games.
I still don't know how I feel about it, but
Those 3 that's going to happen.
yeah,
Probably next year.
Yeah, I could see it.
But I
We'll
do
see how it
think
goes.
and
More
I
injuries,
think
for
you would
sure.
ignore, or I think you would acknowledge this. But I do think there is some good to get some quality reps in the preseason, like just to get out there for like a series or for like, you know what I mean, just so you're not completely now like the old guys, like the older quarterbacks like Rodgers and Stafford and people like that shouldn't be getting smoked out there or like play, you know what I mean, or Flacco. Because why would you even do that whenever it's not worth it, like for them,
Yeah.
like in that old and being injury prone. But I think it's not bad if everybody has a little bit of work. I mean, it can be minuscule even, but like just to get out there and do something in some sort of light that feels like a game. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, you don't want to get it. Just you could so easily
You have to, play 100% a little bit before the season actually starts.
Yeah.
To feel some of the hits and like kind of get back into that.
You don't want to get bounced in the first fucking game and get injured
Yeah.
by having no,
Or
mobility,
just
no
be a
looseness.
lot more, or get like hit for real for the first time of the season, week 1, and then be gun shy the rest of the game. Like be scared to go after the ball and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you have to have some sort of preseason. I get the point of it for every sport, but it's at the same time, any sport that I'm into and I want to watch, like I'm just like, the preseason ends up annoying me because I'm like, I just want to see the shit. Dude.
Yeah.
Like.
No, I do too. And I haven't really watched. Like I've watched a couple of things if they're on, but
Yeah.
I have not made a
I watched the
point.
Browns one because I
to
wanted to
watching
see
it.
Shador and Dylan and stuff. I wanted to kind of just see the rookies, and so I made sure to catch a Browns preseason game. And I think I saw like part of like a Titans, like I saw like Cam Ward, maybe the Giants or something. But that's been like it. I haven't really like seeked out a lot. I mean, I've seen it on when I like scroll through Sling or whatever, but it's not always what I'm like during football season on Sunday. NFL football's on. I'm probably gonna have that game. I'm gonna have a game on. But like, I don't feel that urgency really with preseason.
No. And that's why I'm in favor of honestly them eliminating another one.
Yeah.
Another game because it's like, who's it gonna hurt?
Yeah. I guess that's kind of an advantage of that. 2 bye weeks to go to 20-week season then. 18 games.
But one less preseason game, so you can just kind of shift some things around. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't matter if it went like another week into February.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always like wanting more football when Super Bowl comes around. Like, I'm never ready for football to be done.
No.
When the Super Bowl comes around, because like it's on such a football high through the playoffs that you're just like you're riding such a high and you're so into it.
Every
like,
week,
man, it's ending.
It's such a punishment though for you to set yourself up for your Sunday to be fucking ruined by fantasy every week, or even by your teams, and you're like, oh my god.
If my team's just doing ass, which happens too often, I get to a point where I won't even check it for like the whole half. A lot of times, because I'm like, I'm trying to enjoy watching the game here.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna fuck with it.
But you're like, whenever your phone
There's
lights
nothing
up
I can do now.
and says like touchdown and this and that, you're like, oh.
I mean, that's
you
good.
Get so excited.
That's exciting. If something good's happening, especially though if you're not getting a lot of notifications, that's not a great sign.
No, it's a fucking horrendous sign. Because now, but remember before they never gave out notifications until like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Before then, like they always had just whatever. But yeah, I'm sticking with overrated for that one.
Overrated.
for the preseason.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because
probably a
if,
little bit.
If it gets reduced to 2, then it's like I would probably be like it's fair. It's at least if it's it's a longer season, but guess what? It's another game that matters.
Yeah.
You know, preseason's not drawing anybody fucking money really either. So it's like why? Wouldn't you rather? If you guys are gonna make this
It
much
gives
money off
fans
it
an
anyway.
experience to get up and close with the players. You know.
Yeah, well, wake up earlier. That doesn't even. You mean to throw you mine?
Yep.
This can apply to a TV show or a movie. So I guess it could be long-standing or not. It could be, a trilogy. I guess just a series, like a TV show series. But this is what I said that I'm gonna take the pin out of now that we're to it later, and that is replacing an existing character with a different actor.
See, I feel like there's not a lot of love for that as is, you know?
There's
Like-
sometimes where people, like I said earlier, they don't notice who it is the first movie, and then it's like, oh, this is the person the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Because they're more at the forefront.
Yeah, that can happen, but more often than not, especially in TV shows, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, Superman and Lois even did that. Like, that's an example I just know right off the top of my head with, like, Jonathan Kent. He was one kid for 2 seasons, and then he was another kid for the last 2 seasons. And it just was so weird the first few episodes of season 3 to, like, Jordan and Jonathan are, like, so close to each other and stuff. And it's like, now I'm supposed to buy into these guys' bond. It's like, that's not
Yeah.
even the same fucking Jonathan. You know?
So it's like hard to sell you. Would you rather like creators of projects like that, would you rather them write the character out of the story completely?
Sometimes you can't, though. If it's like
Yeah.
a main character or something, it's
That's
like,
true.
it's unavoidable. But at that point, it's like, yeah, I mean, you're just gonna have to bite the bullet here, but it's gonna suck. People are like, and I think a lot of people eventually bought into that Jonathan though, and they're like, oh, I think he's good, and it sort of fell in the back of my mind, as the season progressed and into the next season. But even still, I think about that kind of like harshly. I'm like, man, that sucks that happened. Like, I wish it just would have been one guy all the way through, because
What goes back to Lori too,
yeah.
It didn't like do anything
At
really
least
to ruin
Lori
it,
though
to me.
wasn't one of like the gang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have
Well,
been like in that scenario. Like,
And to be honest, because they kept her role kind of limited whenever she was the other girl, like, it didn't, like, really ruin anything for me, though. I mean, like, yeah, that character wasn't going to be fun like it was, or, like, that interesting,
yeah.
But, like, it didn't, like, bring down other parts of the story for me or anything like that. Like, she was okay. I mean, you do what you can without being the same person.
Mm-hmm.
It's not her fault. It was an opportunity for
yeah.
her.
You get
Hey, you wanna
hired,
play
why
this?
not do it?
Yeah.
But
As a viewer, yeah, that's where it's like,
I don't know. Like, I think there's times that you have to do it. I understand that. I think if there's the option and you can find a way to, like, write the character off and not in, like, a harsh and bitter way. Oh, they fucking fell off a cliff or some shit. You know what I mean? Like
to punish him.
yeah, don't
Yeah.
do some shit like that. But like, if you can find a reasonable way to be like, literally, like kind of like you were saying with Lori. Oh, she went off to Canada or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that would kind of have been funny and made sense for her character and the story and stuff like that. So I think if there's ways around it, you shouldn't really do it, especially if it's an established actor or actress with the character.
Yeah.
So for that aspect, I'd probably say overrated. But I understand too, like with the Jonathan Kent situation, if that's one of the staple characters of the show, it's like you gotta kind of do something, I guess. So you have, but I'm still not going to like it because it's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
I know it does.
Like, especially in the beginning, like the adjustment period is rough.
Kristen and Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh yeah, that was kind of rough too. At least she was kind of gone quickly. Because it's like at that point, if it's
Yeah.
not Patricia,
Well,
it's
and the other characters had to play off her like she was the same girl. It's just like, oh, and it's just like, see, that's just like, it's just rough because I'm not saying you're not in a creative tight spot, like whenever you have to cast these people, but you as a viewer gotta buy it, and it's just like, man, it's not even the same person. Like, what are we doing?
yeah,
You know, it's just kind of like deflating.
yeah. I mean,
But it's not the end of the world, so.
it could have just said Kristen died. Oh man, Freddie got her.
Nope.
Now we gotta bring.
No,
in
dude, the
this
Dream Master was
new
still
lady.
like on the
It was.
more upper echelon of the series.
It was about midpoint. Yeah.
It was like maybe fourth best.
That's like midpoint.
And it's like how many other like 9? It's like fifth.
8 or 9. Yeah. It's like 8 or 9, yeah.
It's kind of mid like tier, but I mean, hey, it's number 1 of the second tier. The Dream Master.
Yeah, it had its good parts for sure, but it also had like really silly parts. But even some of the silliness in that one was like more enjoyable than what it turned into. The silliness in Freddy's Dead was fucking over the top absurdness.
Yeah. And they just acted like they didn't even want to have a good time with 5. No, you should be pissed.
Just throw it out there.
No soundtrack. Do we have any other kind of score? No. Fuck no.
They did the bug kill in that one though, right?
You know what didn't make any sense too is like you should have had a shitload of money because
The roast.
no, that might have been 4 whenever she was working out.
Oh, that was 4,
That was 4.
wasn't it? Damn.
Yeah, 5 really had nothing.
That
It
was
weak
when
sauce.
he was feeding her all that food. Was that 4 or 5? That was 5. Yeah,
And that was the whole you Scarface, you limp
It's
dick.
a boy.
What was that? Limp dick Scarface, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, whatever he called him.
Scarface.
It was like that
limp
comic
dick.
book. And he only killed 3 people in fucking The Dream Child. That shit was fucking lame. I mean, I'll watch it, but you know.
Yeah, 5 and 6.
Freddy's dead.
5 and 6, they started flushing it down the toilet.
Dude, Freddy's dead. That's filmmaking, son.
It's film trashing. It's franchise
It's
trashing.
film editing, son. It's
It's
incomplete
shitty
project.
CGI.
It's oh man, Super Spencer. That shit was dope. Oh man. Yeah, well,
So what was it?
replacing
Oh yeah,
a character
I said
with
overrated. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that too.
All right, you ready for your second one here?
Yep, are we gonna just do 2?
Yeah.
Yes,
Good with that.
probably fine.
So there's some controversy around this matchup. I figured Clash in Paris is right around the corner. This is the last time we really have a solo before it. So, what do you think about the matchup of John Cena versus Logan Paul? You feel like it's a worthy matchup, or you're kind of wanting to see it, or you feel like it's a waste on his dates left?
I can kind of buy why he's had a lot of the opponents that he's had in his last year, and the guys that are probably left, assuming one's Brock, one's Gunther, probably his last one, and maybe there's one other one like in Survivor Series.
Maybe he does. I
If
hope
he's
he does
part of the
War Games.
yeah, if he's part of the War Games, that could be cool too. it's not that big of a surprise, is what I would say. So I'm not really like. The only way you can be disappointed in this life is if you have expectations. So, in order for me to really think that that's like a complete waste of time, it's not a shocker because he's he's part of a lot of their premier matches that they still have, and he's already teamed with them earlier this year.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. It almost feels natural.
They
want to
just tie it in a bow.
Like,
You know,
he teamed with him as a heel,
Mhm.
and now Logan's like, I don't even recognize you, man. You know, like
I definitely think Cena should beat him.
I do too. I really hope that happens. I hope
do
he
too.
doesn't take the loss.
Especially now that he's not got the belt, man. Like, honestly, I think he needs to fucking win until his last match.
Yeah, he needs to win everything.
Yeah. But yeah, I really do have a great, like, last finish. I'm going to say fair, honestly. Because it is being met with some criticism. I've already heard a decent amount of it too. But
I think that's just Logan Paul haters, though. Basically any spot he gets anytime, they're going to be like, oh, this is fucking stupid.
I can see why they're like, well, let's get more, money out of this, and just with Cena's like.
Plus, it's a big matchup.
Yeah,
not for like wrestling,
and it's not one that's
truest, I guess, but like
you know?
It's going to draw eyes because Logan Paul draws eyes and John Cena draws
People
eyes.
want it to be somebody that's like, oh, be a mid. It's like it's not gonna be a mid carder.
And
like
Logan
it's not gonna be.
Puts on
that's,
good matches. Cena knows
does.
wrestling, so
Well,
Cena's going to be able to lead him to a good match.
The biggest reason I think above a lot of else is just that there's gonna be eyes on it, and this is a way to make that happen while keeping them both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Relevant. So it's not a big shocker, so I'm not that disappointed by it. Like honestly, whenever I heard that was going to happen, it did shock me.
Passing match on the calendar while he's kind of like,
Yeah.
he just dropped the belt. He doesn't have Brock yet.
He needs his win back.
It's kind of like it's something to do
because
here, and I hope he wins.
If he wins, I'll really be wondering what's going to happen with Brock, because Brock isn't in a match in a while. He lost his last match he did have.
He's got to beat Brock.
And
gotta beat Brock.
And Cena will have just beat Logan if he wins. So I mean, I do think so too, but who knows what they're going to do.
Because I mean, Cena's taken a few ass whoopings
well,
from Brock.
It
so
also wouldn't feel like closure if he loses.
Yeah,
to Brock.
he's got to beat him on his way out.
Yeah,
it's
if
like
he
the
beats
final
him,
note.
If he loses to him, it almost feels like he should face him again. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like
unless Brock ends up on War Games. This is the thing, though. I feel like one of the teams in War Games is going to be the Vision. It's going to be Rollins, Braun, and Bronson, and whoever else they could find on that team.
Yeah.
But I don't really know who they'll face necessarily. I guess like probably a Punk, Jay, LA Knight, since they're all in that Fatal 4-Way, and Rollins is definitely walking out with the belt.
Yeah.
So
doing a Fatal 4-Way is cool.
Maybe Cena and
doing a Fatal
else.
4-Way is cool, but so soon after Seth wins the belt, it's like it's so obvious he's not going to lose it. Not saying
I'm
it won't
excited
be,
for that match.
It's going to be.
It's going to be a good
it
match.
Will be. It will be.
Oh, but main events, honestly.
I
There's
think
some big matches though.
I think it should.
Roman Bronson, that's cool. Honestly, I didn't see that. Sheamus, Rusev, Donnybrook, that's probably gonna.
What the hell is that?
Be awesome. It's basically like an Irish street fight.
Okay.
And
the Belfast Brawl.
Probably Cody Drew for the belt.
Yeah.
Unless they push that.
That's not a horrible card. I mean,
unless
it's
they push
it
it
to
the ESPN show. Probably
it's only
Becky,
going to be like
Nikki, because they're going to have a women's match. And now that Naomi and Stephanie's not happening.
Isn't it only going to be... I know, I saw that stuff too.
Yeah.
I saw like just some of the funniest things there too. They're like, oh, at 37 days, Big Jim ends Naomi's reign.
Dude, her promo on Raw was hilarious though, because she's like, there's only one person that the women's roster needs to be thinking right now. She's like, and that's Big Jim Uso.
Yeah.
She's like, if it wasn't for Big Jim Uso, I was about to put this women's division in the dirt for the next year.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, she's I mean, in what's crazy is that's the only circumstance, or one of the only, that could prevent her from having like the reign that she was getting ready to have, and it's just like unfortunate that the timing has to be at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, she's gonna be
Hell of a
gone.
year for her,
It's
though.
not gonna be 9 months. Like, you got to get your ass in ring shape again after all that. Like, it's gonna be. I think she even said it's gonna be like 15 to 18 months. It's gonna be.
We'll see.
It's gonna be a while.
Hopefully she comes back, surprises expectations. Hopefully it's no longer than like a year. It'd be cool to see her.
It won't be sooner
pop
than a
back
year.
up. No.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was kind of a surprise too. But you never know, man.
Once they said, "Oh, Naomi's got a special announcement to make," I'm like, she's dropping that belt, bro.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's what I had heard being rumored actually for a couple. And like E told me that actually, and I was like, once I heard that, I was like, oh boy. I was like, it's probably information that's getting ready to pop. And I think that night was SmackDown. Or yeah, she said it on SmackDown, right?
Said it on Raw.
Oh, or yeah.
She was, but it
I guess
came
so.
out first on like Stephanie's podcast.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh man. We'll see though. What were we on? Logan
John
Paul and
Cena
John
versus
Cena.
Logan Paul. I think you said fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I think this is a good match to have. If they can go a good 15 minutes, give Cena a win, put on a great match, like I'll be very pleased with it. Like I don't really know what other position you want John Cena to be in on this card at Clash in Paris. You know, he's not going to be going for the belt. Like, who else you want him to be facing? You want him to randomly be going after Dom for the IC belt. Like, Dom's doing other shit. You know, like, I don't know. I think it makes sense from a lot of standpoints. From, like, it's kind of natural with the storytelling of what happened earlier in the year. It's natural that they would do this because Logan Paul gets premier spots because he draws a lot of eyes. So does Cena. It's going to be a talked about social media match.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm into it. I think it'll be pretty good. I think Clash in Paris is shaping up to be, even if, albeit a rather predictable card in some ways, I think that it's shaping up to be a pretty good looking card.
I do too, and it's kind of like a little like on the smaller side, isn't it? Like 5 matches.
It'll probably be like 5 or 6, I believe, because they're definitely gonna add a women's match. At this point, I feel like it's gonna be Becky, Nikki, but I don't really.
Bronson Reed, and they're gonna add Cody and Drew.
I'm guessing, unless they push that back to the ESPN pay-per-view, because Cody's filming Street Fighter right now.
They probably will.
Yeah, so maybe Becky, Nikki will be the other one added or something.
I think I'm gonna modify my good, the bad, and the shits because I think I'm gonna stay in the wrestling lane. So let's just throw it out there. You know, I guess he hasn't held a belt in a while since like last year's Mania. But what do you think of Drew McIntyre as a heel? Because I think the last like 2 years of Drew, man, has been like the best and the most interesting he's ever been.
Yeah, I always liked Drew as a face too, but I felt like he was like, Drew's never necessarily been one of my top guys or anything, but like I've always recognized Drew as being as good as he is, and kind of feeling like he kind of got fucked over in certain ways. Like he kind of sort of continues. That's just sort of the Drew thing at this point. He loses a lot. He gets screwed out of his title opportunities and then doesn't get them back. Like, it's just like a Drew thing that it's like, man, well, how does this continue to happen?
Yeah.
He's going to get his day. I feel like he'll get like a good title reign again decently soon, but him becoming a heel made him like so much more personality came out of him.
Yeah,
I feel
100%.
like on the mic especially, but even in the ring, like his social media stuff, he's one of the few guys too that are like stay in character on podcasts and stuff. He just like continues to talk shit on people that he's in rivalries with and posting pictures in the middle of matches at like WrestleMania and stuff.
He's another one though that like feels believable. Like the dude's jacked. He's like a threat. He's like a big time, you know. I don't know, man. Drew kicks some ass. Like I don't know where I'd put him either. Like I really enjoy him. I don't know if he's like one of my at the tip top or anything like that. But he's a great guy to have around, like competing for the titles, like for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoy him too. But I definitely think like him and Punk was easily the best feud last year.
Yeah. I think that Drew is recognized by wrestling fans of the modern era. But overall, I think his work probably goes a little underappreciated. So I'd probably say a little underrated.
Yeah.
His work as a heel. Because he probably, like, when it comes to, like, all around a true heel in the business right now, like, him and Gunther are doing it, like, the best, probably.
Absolutely agree. I also think Drew's one of those guys, if you really listen to him and, like, his, you know, if he does any appearances, if you hear him in interviews, he seems like one of those guys that does all of the little extra things to make himself all the more believable and, like, of a good heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does every little thing that he can to make sure, like, he gets heat.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it. Like, the comments he makes and, like, you know, it's just, I feel like he can do both, but he's more natural heel because I think exactly what you said is, like, more personality comes out that way. And some people are just like that. Like, it doesn't mean he's in real life a heel, but it's just, like, sometimes you just gravitate towards...
He's able to say whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Well, like, there's great individuals that are heels that are, like, some of the nicest people in real life. I mean, a lot of times people will tell you that the heels are the ones that are nice because they're, like, less stuck up, you know? And they're not as full of their own shit. Which I can see that.
Yeah, because baby faces want to be presented a certain way. You know, a lot of times heels don't care to take the loss, or heels are just more concerned about their character work.
Yeah.
Baby faces want to be presented well, you know. That's not always the case, but that's just kind of the image.
You also don't have as much flexibility as a babyface in terms of, like, drawing outside the lines.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna stay a babyface, you gotta abide by certain principles and values, kind of way.
Yeah, you gotta kind of stick by a certain routine, even if the crowd likes it or not, depending on where you're at or what you're doing. You can't, like, kind of play more into the crowd. You kind of just gotta do your thing, you know. But yeah, I think Drew's work's probably a little underrated. Especially right now. I feel like, his rivalry with Punk last year was, like, probably the best rivalry of the year. Just overall.
Oh, yeah.
And he's kind of been a little more understated this year. He hasn't done as much, but, like, anytime he's around and he has a mic, like, he's going to deliver, you know? He's to that point in his career where he's, like, you never feel like when he grabs the mic, oh man, this could be awkward. You know what I mean? Like,
no. I always
it's gonna come off fine.
Assume he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely agree with that too. Well, I think that about wraps the good, the bad, and the shits. We did a little movie swap. We reviewed Apocalypto and Air, gave each other Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and The Wrestler. And that'll make for an interesting review
about that
session.
70 show characters.
Talked a lot about that. And now we are into the first 3-hour episode we've ever done in solo form.
Damn.
And it also makes it the longest solo episode of all time.
That's wild.
But we spent half of it on that 70s show, this or that.
I don't even understand how that was an hour and a half.
I know, it was great. And we really did not waste time. We, like, went right to it. It was, I mean, we, spent like a minute or two on whatever and then went right to it.
And it doesn't feel like that would be one of the longer ones, necessarily.
No. And I'm not as, like, fatigued as I am certain nights, like, regardless of the fact that I've yawned a few times.
Yeah.
But
It's starting to catch up to me, but
It
not
is.
like some podcasts.
it is too. Especially the ones where we'd snack a lot and stuff like that. You'd be like, oh yeah, it's ready to go to sleep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you will catch us on the next episode. We will do another edition. Well, 1 year ago, we started that, the NFL Prediction Power Hour, predicting all the divisions, possibly some wild cards. Who knows what we'll dabble into, but kind of break down a little bit of, each team or each division, kind of break down those teams, maybe point out what we think is going to happen with some special guests.
Be a good time.
It will
Looking
be.
forward to it.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening and supporting us. We will see you next episode. Take care of yourselves out there.